Celtic, so it's not been a great season for them, but they're still in the title race, that's for sure. But they've got to win tonight.
Is that the glimmer of hope from an Aberdeen point of view tonight, Scott? You don't quite know what Celtic team is going to turn up in these games. You look at the first half against Rangers, they were nowhere to be seen. Second half, completely different story, and they lost to Hibs at home not that long ago. They are up and down, and there's general consensus this is not as strong a Celtic squad as it has been in recent times.
It's most certainly not. But what I would say about Martin Neil's Celtic team is, though, obviously that performance at home to Stuttgart, they went away in a game where no one expected anything. They managed to perform really well. Again, at the weekend, after the first half, you think they're down and out. They show a bit of resilience, so they do have that in the locker. But you don't want to be relying on last-minute goals, as Willie said, and one half of a good performance, and then you just don't know what you're going to get the next. That's where they've been at all season. From an Aberdeen perspective, I think they'll look at parts of the Rangers game. Rangers were direct at times. They showed a lot of energy. Do I think Aberdeen have got that same athleticism and energy about their team? I don't. They'll look at other ways what Hibs done. Hibs got compact at times, frustrated Celtic, and then looked to get them in the counter-attack. Do I think Aberdeen, out with Olisanya, have got real pace to play in the counter-attack? I don't think they have, so it'll be interesting to see what he does come out with and how he's planning to go about getting a result against this Celtic team.
We'll hear from the Aberdeen interim manager in a moment, Peter Leaven, but I just wanted to talk about Kevin Nisbet. He's somebody that you know well, Scott. He's got the captain's armband at Aberdeen these days. Was that something that you ever saw happening?
Nope. No, but listen, sometimes when you're in a certain environment and you're the one looking to lead and score the goals, then if that's who the manager feels is best to wear the armband, that's so be it. At that stage, he was obviously early on in his career. He did have his moments. What I would say is when he was at Hibs, he was fantastic. You've seen obviously in recent weeks, when you do give him chances, he does take them, but there's no getting away from it. They lack a real creativity about them. This Aberdeen side, they don't have that. Over the years, we've all seen Aberdeen with wingers who can go by someone and put crosses in the box. Don't really see that now. I think if Stuart Armstrong's playing there, he's going to naturally come inside the pitch and look to maybe play the reverse passes into Kevin Nisbet. Olisanya is a striker playing in an area where you're just trying to make the most out his pace, but when I've watched them the last two games, they haven't used that. It's not as if the ball's coming inside the pitch and they're trying to get him in behind. He's coming too narrow as well. So the worst thing you could probably do against this Celtic team, who you think from the weekend you'll have McGregor and Hatate closer together than McGregor was really isolated at the weekend. If you come in and play in amongst their bodies, if you turn over the ball, Celtic will be able to exploit you down the sides.
Well, he used to have ownership of that captain's armband back in the day. Kevin Nisbet, what have you made of him in recent times? And as a leader on the pitch as well, what do you make of that?
Well, I don't really know Kevin, don't know his character either. I've watched him play the game and I know that he's a top quality striker. If you can create opportunities for him, then he'll take the opportunities. But as a striker, when I'm watching him, I think he gets a little bit frustrated. He comes into maybe a number 10 position, which really you don't really want to see him there. I think the direction that you would give Kevin is, get yourself up top, be at the very peak of our strike force, and get yourself in the box, and we'll try to create opportunities for you. We'll try, I said that because they haven't really been able to do that on too many occasions. And I'm looking at the team, there isn't really any width in the team other than they'll be hoping that the fullbacks can get forward, I would imagine. Because, Stuart Armstrong will be wanting to come in. He'll play kind of a into out to in. That he's not a winger. I don't think you could class him as a winger. I think he's a very intelligent player and a very important player. Really good on the ball. Quick feet, nimble feet, sees the pass as well. So very good. Olisanya, he's a frustrated striker. He's playing in a wide area. He doesn't want to be, and I've said that last 3 or 4 games, and he doesn't want to be out there. He wants to be up in the middle. He actually wants to, my opinion anyway, go from in to out rather than out to in, and that's what he's having to do just now.
But that's what he's got to be effective for the team, Willie, isn't it? He's got to stay on the touchline and allow, if someone does come in the pitch, a Stuart Armstrong who can find that pass. The longer he stays out, it gives the guy on the ball more space to hit, and then you can actually see him utilise what he's got, and that's speed. But he's not been doing that, as Willie says. He's been coming narrow far too early, and then you don't have that out ball.
Fascinating to see how it works out on the pitch this evening. So much to talk about this evening. Clearly the title race, huge issue for Celtic. The managerial search for Aberdeen, a big issue as well. Sandro Schwarz, we understand, here this evening to see if he might be interested in taking over as Aberdeen manager, or if Aberdeen will be interested in having him take over. It seems to be all up in the air at the moment, but he's one of the names mentioned. He's a German, been in charge of Mainz, Dynamo Moscow, Red Bull in New York, Red Bull in America as well. Anyway, we'll get into all of that very soon. Right now, let's hear from the interim Aberdeen manager, Peter Leven.
Peter, 4 changes to your team tonight. Again, just give us your thoughts on your selection for this one.
Yeah, Nicky obviously got a bad one against Hearts. Young Mitchell's done well. Sivert comes in as well, gives that experience and a bit of calmness in the ball.
Just looking at your lineup, can we assume that Gavin will be moving into the centre of defence tonight?
Yeah, that's where he'll go. But yeah, it's just a tactical tweak on a couple of things tonight. But yeah, it's some obviously forced with Nicky, but yeah, there's some obviously a tactical change as well.
Just on Nicky, how is he? Because I've seen him out with a leg brace on. It doesn't look too clever.
Yeah, I just need to go and get a second opinion. He had a scan the other day, so we just need to go and get another one just to get a second opinion on that one, and we'll wait and see how that goes.
Just give us your general thoughts going into this game tonight.
Tough game, always is against Celtic, but we're at home. And we need to take that advantage, and as I said the other day, we need to start picking up points.
What do you need to do differently tonight than perhaps you did at Tynecastle at the weekend?
Obviously get more bodies in the box, more attempts at goal, be more resilient at the back. But no, it's a game where we want to go and try and attack Celtic at the right times. Obviously we know we need to be cautious as well because they can open you up at any time. So we need to be clinical in both boxes.
Obviously points are vital at the moment, not just in terms of keeping yourself out of danger, but you've got an opportunity tonight, haven't you, to put a little bit more daylight between yourself and the teams beneath you?
Yeah, definitely. As I said, you said that's an opportunity to get points. We're at home, and listen, we'll get into every game try to get 3 points, but we know what the task is tonight. But listen, we're confident. The boys have trained really well the last couple of days, and hopefully they can go and do the performance tonight. How
big a job do you have lifting the players' spirits and keeping the confidence up amid a run like this?
It's challenging at times, but also we've brought in Doc and Ian as well, so that helps bolster that as well. So listen, it's just showing the positives we have over the season. As I spoke about, it's been inconsistent at times, but hopefully we can get a good performance tonight.
What kind of challenge are you expecting from Celtic tonight? I mean, they're a team by their own high standards, but like Aberdeen, haven't had the season so far that they would have liked, and they have shown vulnerability at times this season.
No, they have, especially away from home. But listen, they've got quality players, and obviously they've got their own challenge, obviously going for the league title. But again, it's all about what we do and what we can bring to the game today.
Peter, all the best.
Thanks, Tyrone.
Yeah, Peter Leven there chatting to Tyrone Smith. Kick-off this evening is at 8 o'clock. Let's talk about the Aberdeen managerial situation. As I mentioned earlier on in the programme, 2 months to the day now since Aberdeen sacked Jimmy Tellene, and they still only have an interim manager. I suppose you could say the same is true of Celtic right now with Martin O'Neill as interim manager, but he is manager until the end of the season. Looks like it will be that way with Peter Leven, although we just don't quite know. Aberdeen chairman Dave Cormack confirming that the former Mainz, Hertha Berlin, Dynamo Moscow and New York Red Bulls boss Sandro Schwarz in talks about the vacant manager's position. He's here tonight. Eric Horneland, he was heavily linked with the post after leaving St Etienne, but he told Norwegian television he wasn't interested in taking on a new position until the summer. And Dave Cormack, the Aberdeen chairman, is speaking to Red TV, Aberdeen's in-house television station, saying that they're working to make the right decision. They do have a short list, but that making an immediate appointment might not be possible for the preferred choice, Willie Miller. It's been a hard watch for you all season, as it's well documented, and it has felt like a rudderless ship, I suppose, at times, and a season that a lot of people feel is sort of petering out, albeit they are still in the Scottish Cup. Can you believe that Aberdeen have gone 2 calendar months without a permanent manager, or having sacked the manager, not brought in somebody permanent to replace him?
Yeah, well, I mean, the preferred route is to get the manager in as soon as possible, and I still can, but I was speaking to Scott about it, and seemingly the new coaches, the new age coaches, want to come in during the summer, and they don't want to come in with 2 months to go. I can't understand why, but he assures me that that's the case. I thought Derek McInnes came here, I think it was February Derek came, and he had a couple of months to you know, have a look at the players, assess the squad, and then go into the summer knowing what changes, what players, what positions he was wanting to strengthen. So I'm a wee bit surprised that that's the case nowadays, but if it is, then fair enough, and I'll take that under consideration, but I don't agree with it.
Why don't you agree with it? Does it show a lack of confidence or something for you?
No, I just don't, I'm talking about the coach or the manager.
Yeah.
I think you want to get in, have a look at your players, and then you don't want to.
So what does it say?
Them going away during the summer and then coming back, and then you're having pre-season, whatever they do pre-season. I don't know what they do nowadays. I believe it's much shorter in terms of running than when I was a young man, which I would have enjoyed, by the way, but I was maybe born at the wrong time. But I just think, come in, see a squad. It's not just your squad. You've got to get to know the people at Aberdeen as well, the people behind the scenes too. And it gives you, I just think it gives you a kind of a slower kind of a move in towards assessing everything at the club, and then going into the summer. You've got your pre-season, but you've still got to bring players in, and it's not easy to get. They keep saying it's easy to get players in the summer. It's not that easy to get players in the summer. And if you're not filling these positions, the longer it goes, you go into the season and you're still looking for players. So I just don't see the rationale behind it. But that's a different story altogether. As far as Aberdeen are concerned, I think that you wanted to get the manager in as soon as possible. Lud said that sporting director said it could be 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months. It's now looking like 6 months, unfortunately, because you don't bring these coaches in as well that you've brought in, Tony Dock and Birchinall as well, unless the people at the top are thinking, look, this is going to be a summer appointment.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough, but for me, you can think you've got the right man, and I'll tell you what, see, every manager that's employed, the board thinks he's the right man. How many get sacked? Probably most of them.
All of them. Yes. Eventually.
But at the time you think he's the right man, you don't appoint him because you think he's the wrong man.
Willie, who for you is the right man?
I don't know, and I don't have that responsibility. You've got a sporting director there that has got everything at his fingertips. I mean, nowadays, the amount of information you can gather worldwide, and coaches worldwide is quite amazing. I'm sure they've got the stats down there. I'm sure they've got the software down there to identify. The analytics of Aberdeen are working hard to identify the new coach, the new manager. So for me, I don't know. I think you look at home first, and we know there's a couple of candidates at home, but then you spread the net wide, yeah, and then you whittle it down to a short list, which I'm glad Aberdeen have done, and then you've then got to go and get your man. I think that's how it works, and it's quite a simple process. But I think nowadays they've got much more information on players and managers to work with than they did back in the day.
Obviously, Scott, few names have been mentioned. Eric Hornland, Sandro Schwarz, who's here tonight, and you look at their credentials and they're good.
Yep.
But I mean, there's also very good candidates here in Scotland who know the game inside out. So which way do you think Aberdeen are going to go here?
Well, I think the fact that Schwarz is at the game tonight, I think that kind of tells you where it's going with it. They're not getting away from that. Listen, for me, the one obviously domestically would be John McGlynn. I think consistently over the last 3 years and what he's done with Falkirk coming into the Premiership, outstanding, good style of play first and foremost, and he's now adapting and to life in the Premiership and done so well with guys who he's made better footballers first and foremost. But I think all things are pointing towards Schwarz, the fact he's here tonight. I disagree with Willie on a few things on the manager coming in now.
That's all right. It's not for the first time I've been disagreed with.
It makes for good radio. Thanks, Scott.
And it's purely...
You're maybe the youngest one that's ever disagreed with me, right?
Yeah, that's probably true.
I sense a battle coming. It's going to be good.
And that, from a point of view, I would say if you're looking to come into Aberdeen and really get things changing quickly, I think you have to be real about it as well and look where the squad is at this moment in time. I think they're low in confidence. I think there'll be a lot of players who you want to move on. If you get the chance, obviously Tony Docherty and that come in, that points to me as if they will see it out to the end of the season. So still in the Scottish Cup, which could maybe salvage some sort of hope for Aberdeen this season. But I think if you're the new manager coming in and you have the option of coming in now or coming in the summer, for me, all day you're coming in the summer, you get me at a fresh start, come in and make a real impact. And within 2 weeks you can judge what the squad looks like, and you're judging them when they've went away, had a break, came back refreshed, instead at a time of the season where they're just getting through game by game, they've not been performing well. So for me...
But would you not learn more simply by being here longer?
not the way football is with the landscape now. If he comes in and Aberdeen lose their next 5 games and he's trying to change things and it's not working, he'll be under pressure. So it makes no sense for me. The way football is now, the landscape, if he comes in and sees, saying the split, they playing the bottom teams in the split, and he doesn't perform, he's under pressure for the get-go. It's an unnecessary pressure that he doesn't have to put on himself. Instead of giving them a fresh start summer, work on how you want to make this Aberdeen team better and competitive, and at the same time you get to see the players in a different mindset where they're fighting out every week. That's my personal preference. Obviously Willie disagrees with that, but I'm just looking at it from how a young manager would assess this situation. I think you've got to protect yourself a bit as well, and yeah, if you come in the summer, you're definitely doing that.
No, I understand that. You know, I don't want to go on about it, but if you come in at this time of the season, you're seeing players in a competitive environment. You're seeing their character. You're watching how they react to the crowd. If you leave that until the summer, you're seeing them in friendly games as well. You know, before you get into the nitty-gritty of well, next season it'll be a League Cup early, won't it? Because Aberdeen will be in the bottom. The bottom 6, so there will be some competitive games there for the coach to see them, absolutely. And you know, I just think it's a modern way and it's the old-fashioned way. So it's the old guy and the new guy, and that's how the new guys look at it. But I still prefer the old way, and sometimes the old way is the right way.
Vintage.
Oh, I could listen to this debate for hours. Fantastic. Whatever happens with the Aberdeen managerial search, you'll hear about it with us first and foremost, no doubt about it. But for now, Aberdeen carry on as best they can. Certainly looks like being in the bottom half of the table. But can they get a morale-boosting victory this evening against Celtic? It's going to be a very, very tall order, as we've mentioned several times this evening. It was the 3rd of February 2016. Quite incredible the last time Aberdeen tasted victory against Celtic here on the Pittodrie turf. Johnny Hayes and Simon Church with the goals in the first half, and then in the second half, you know what Celtic did to try and turn the game, Scott Allen?
What did they do?
They chucked you on from the bench.
Oh, no. Is that the last time Aberdeen won?
Yes.
That's incredible.
You came on for Mikael Lustig. What do you remember about the match? Lee Griffiths got a consolation goal at the end.
I remember the fans walking me back to my car, slaughtering me. That's what I remember that night.
Oh dear. I feel bad for bringing it up now, actually.
Been through worse. Been through worse, Jonathan.
I can't believe, actually, Willie, that is over 10 years ago now. Do you remember that match, Willie?
I don't, to be perfectly honest, and I'm not great at remembering individual matches, to be perfectly honest with you. I could probably look back because I keep all my books and all my notes, but off the top of my head, I don't. So it's a long time ago, though, Jonathan. That's the issue for Aberdeen, you know, and it's been pretty traumatic over the years. You know, since Derek McInnes left the club, actually, and he had 8 years at the club, and I could see it was beginning to sour a little bit, you know, his relationship with the fans. I didn't agree with it at the time. I thought he should have stayed, and I said that, but he moved on, and then I don't know, what is it, 7 managers since then, something like that anyway. And you know, some of them very short term, some of them interim and then permanent, some of them
Who's your favourite?
Neil Warnock.
Some of them English. I really enjoyed it. Well, a short period, right enough. So
it's like Vietnam flashbacks here for Willie Miller right now.
And what you want is you just want a wee bit of you know, stability and some. I mean, the Scottish Cup final was definitely the highlight since 2018. In fact, since 2014, I think it was a League Cup that Aberdeen won. But I thought Derek was a very good manager, and he's proven that he is a very good manager where he is just now. And since then, we found it difficult to replace him, Aberdeen. So, you know, the search is on. How long it takes, I don't know. I think it will be the summer. I hope they get the right man. But you just make that decision. You make the decision with the information that you've got after speaking to him and looking around, both home and away. And then if you get it wrong, you get it wrong. Don't be frightened about appointing a manager. You know, because as I said, a lot of them don't work out. But I think when you've just got interim people in charge, and no disrespect to the coaching staff that's here just now. They're doing a great job. They're working very hard in difficult circumstances. But you need a permanent manager, and the fans need that, the club needs that, and that's the way to go forward. I don't think there's any other answer to it than that. Peter did a great job being an interim manager previously. But I think, I think it wears Peter down as well. I was listening to him after the game, and he seemed frustrated. The Hearts game, seemed frustrated with the performance. So I think it's wearing him down as well. I think he would prefer if they got a new manager in sooner rather than later.
It does seem like an imponderable puzzle right now, Aberdeen. Lots of good players at the club. Clearly, just trying to get the best out of them seems to be the impossible trick right now. Scott, Alan, I should mention as well, that game back in 2016, you were in good company. Callum McGregor and Kieran Tierney were in the team that day as well, so you can pin the blame on them if you like. Graham Shinney was playing for Aberdeen back then. Yeah, I know. So many things stay the same, so many things change, but it's got to give Celtic huge confidence coming here, knowing they've got such an incredible track record here, and vice versa for Aberdeen.
Yeah, it's interesting because we always give the stats, but I think as a player, it's always what's next, isn't it? And tonight, it's a different challenge for Celtic. They'll know first half wasn't good enough against Rangers. Second half, they fought back. They were the better side, no getting away with it. They have to back it up tonight. They have to go out there and win. Does it help that your team, where you've come up here and you've won before? A little bit, but every game's different as a footballer. It really is. So for me, it's about Celtic being professional. First of all, defending properly, and can we see a bit more fluidity in attack? I think that's one thing that Celtic fans want to see. Hatate coming back into the team, for me, on his days, he's technically the best central midfielder in the country. Eye for a pass, taking the ball in tight areas, uses his body really well, and very creative. But we just haven't seen that this season until the second half at Ibrox. So he'll be Celtic fans will be looking at him tonight. Will he be the difference in this running? And it just takes someone on his game like a Hatate who can just switch things around for you, and that's what he done in the second half. When you've got a player who wants that responsibility in the ball, settled everybody else round about him. Even Callum McGregor had a really poor first half against Rangers. There's no getting away from it. Hatate coming on actually settled him down. A guy who's had so many games for Celtic and he's a leader. Hatate came on and he settled him down. So big things expected from Celtic tonight off the back of that second half performance. And if they're real serious about this title race, then they have to come up here and win tonight.
You know what? I'm just getting some indication here from Liam McLeod that Liam, what have you got to say?
Yeah, it's just being reported that Dane Murray's pulled out of the starting 11 for this one with an eye injury, and will be replaced by Benjamin Arthur, new signing, made his debut in the defeat against Hibs. Not sure who will go on the Celtic bench to replace him, but that's what I'm hearing, is that Dane Murray's having to come out of the starting 11 and Benjamin Arthur will get his first Celtic start.
Thanks very much, Liam. It took me a few seconds there to decipher your sign language.
Sign language isn't great, is it? No
We'll need to work on that. Yeah, no, thanks very much for that, Liam. Yeah, a bit of a change there for Celtic. I feel like we've been talking a lot about Aberdeen. We will talk more about Celtic. Huge night for them, clearly. They played twice against Aberdeen already this season, and it's gone their way both times.
Every goal, every game, every kick of the ball live. Aberdeen versus Celtic.
This was always going to be a challenging game in the context of how last season finished and coming here so early. Aberdeen's first game.
Tierney against Milanovic. Tierney gets it across. Goal! And Nygren has put the champions in front of the Granite City.
The game was still alive when it was 1-0.
Hatate goes for goal. What a finish that is! Hatate finds the top right corner. Side foot. It is outstanding. And on 65.5 minutes, it might be game over. Aberdeen 0, Celtic 2.
When they score 2-0, we need to risk a little bit more, but we didn't get up in the way we want. I still think we have to be more true to what we want to do, but that's my job to help the players here and find that direction.
We had a lot of really good moments in the game, scored 2 outstanding goals. Yeah, I'm so pleased for the players because end of last season would have hurt them because they had a fantastic season last season, but we come here today, we play with quality, we play with heart, and we get the result.
Celtic versus Aberdeen.
This looks promising for Aberdeen. It's through for Bilalovic. Oh my! And it's 1-1. It's that incredible scoreline that Celtic must have been fearing, and the Celtic supporters are looking on here with disbelieving eyes.
The goal that we conceded for the 1-1 against 10 men was not easy, but they showed again resiliency. Many teams could have been, down, regarding all the chances that we had, but we kept going waves after waves after waves, and I'm really proud of that.
Shifted right for Donovan, great ball in! Kieran Tierney finds the goal. Celtic so badly wanted, and you can feel the relief right around Celtic Park. It's 2-1.
That goal, the score 2-1, maybe it's a bit too easy for them, but that's football sometimes.
So wide, McGregor back into the middle, and James Forrest scores, and that rounds things off for Celtic in the end. Inside stoppage time, it's Forrest for 3-1.
We were under pressure for a long time, but the players were in Prague some days ago and still had this fighting spirit in the second half. They run a lot for each other. Of course, it's a fair result, but sometimes when you are so close, you want to close the game and grab the point.
I can see an improvement every game, and tonight, I'm happy for the players because they deserve it. Tonight it clicked, but again, we could have scored more goals, but this is football.
Every goal, every game, every kick of the ball, live. Scottish football lives here.
Talking about Willie Miller having a few flashbacks this evening. I'm sure a few Celtic fans having a few flashbacks after hearing the voices there of Brendan Rodgers and Wilfried Nancy. Quite incredible this season, so many ups and downs, and it was a very, very brief up for Wilfried Nancy, and not another good start for Aberdeen that they lost to a Wilfried Nancy Celtic team, has to be said, but they did. And Celtic with the upper hand against Aberdeen this season, and certainly with the upper hand when it comes to matches here at Pittodrie over the last decade. Quite incredible. But one thing, Scott Allen, I think that's maybe slightly surprising from a Celtic point of view tonight, no Benjamin Nygren in the starting lineup for Celtic, given his goals against Aberdeen this season, his goals generally. What a big player he's been.
He has been. I think he's been the shining light. A lot has been spoken about his build-up play, but what you can't take away from him is his desire to get in the box and score goals. You see the weekend, lovely cross for Kieran Tierney's goal, so he'd run around that penalty box when you have to be the difference. He has been the difference for Celtic in many occasions this year, so I think it's a case of resting him. I genuinely do. He's played a lot of games, hasn't he, in his first season, and he's been really clinical in front of goal. But as the game goes on, he'll be someone who can come off the bench and look to impact the game.
Yeah, I mean, that is the conundrum, I suppose, for Martin O'Neill. And I suppose what Martin O'Neill was saying, Willie, at the start, when we heard him being interviewed by Tyrone Smith, is that it's just about trying to get the energy up in this squad. Lots of good options. It's giving people the opportunities. Obviously, Hattati and Tinekti came on to great effect on Sunday. And he does have that luxury, doesn't he? He's got that squad. You look at Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, also on the bench. What was your take on his Old Firm match? I mean, was it just a case of a player just finding Scottish football a bit of a surprisingly fast place to be?
Well, it is a very fast place to be, and I suppose we could put that down as an excuse, but it is a game of football, isn't it? And I think the thing with Martin O'Neill is he knows his players, so he's seen them up close. He's also seen them we only see them 90 minutes, 95 minutes, or however long it takes for Celtic to score that final goal, because they seem to do it all the time, don't they? So we're seeing them on the field of play. We don't know how fit a player like that is. We don't know his mental state either. We're just judging him on what we're seeing on the field of play for a short period of time. Martin O'Neill seeing him, constantly speaking to him as well in the dressing room, behind the scenes. So I think what you need to do, and what a manager's job is to assess the circumstances. Bear in mind there is quite an important game coming up at the weekend as well. So you've got to take that into consideration. I mean, managers will always say they haven't taken that into consideration, but believe me, they do. So when you've got cup games and you've got such an important league game here, you've got to get the balance right, and that's where the experience comes in. And Martin O'Neill is a very, very good manager, very experienced manager. You can see that he came in after Wilfried Nancy and turned the fortunes round. And the Nancy experiment was hurtful for Celtic. I think
hugely,
we can say that.
yes.
I mean, hugely, both on and off the field, I would suggest. So he's came in and he's gave that stability. It's still not the answer for Celtic, is it? You know, they need that permanent man. Dare I say it, they need the right permanent man. But again, I'm sure they thought that Wilfred Nancy was the right permanent man, or whoever suggested him to be the next manager thought he was the right manager for Celtic. So it's two teams with interim bosses here. Celtic have got a huge amount of pressure on them. They have got to win tonight, I think, to keep that challenge. That's my opinion on it anyway, having watched Hearts. So solid, so strong, good manager, players that can influence a game, players that can defend, players that can score goals. So I don't think they're going anywhere. And I know that people will say, can they handle the pressure? Well, we don't know that yet. We do not know that yet, but they certainly look to me as though they're handling the pressure okay just now. So from a Celtic point of view, they really need the 3 points to keep them on their coattails, you know, leap over Rangers as well. And then we're in for, and not forgetting Motherwell, of course, who've been sensational this season, quite sensational, still have an impact. And they will have an impact. Motherwell will have an impact. I don't think they'll win it, but they'll have an impact on who's going to win it, that's for sure. So it's an exciting end to the season. I'm thoroughly watching you, and probably you, Scott, as well, and you're enjoying yourself in the top 6, and I'll have to put up with the bottom 6, but I'll make as good a job of it as I possibly can.
Okay. Callum McGregor, he never gets rested. He's there. And Willie's Motherwell point is absolutely right, because Motherwell, they take on Dundee this weekend.
Tough game,
but if they win it, and then the following weekend they are away at Celtic, they could actually be second in the table by the time Rangers next play a Premiership match. So people talk about Motherwell can make a difference in terms of who wins the title. They're still very much in the race to win the title, Scott, aren't they?
They are, if they go and win the 2 games. And from what we've seen, obviously the goals are not conceding, defensively very solid, have a clear game plan how they want to play and affect the opposition. Nearly every team that's played them this year has had to change or adapt their game to try and get something from it, and they haven't come out trump. So Motherwell will be looking at the next 2 games as winnable, and it's genuinely incredible the season they've had. It really is. But I think the huge credit goes to Jens Bertolausku and what he's done at Motherwell. It is simply incredible. The most exciting football, but at the same time the foundations don't concede goals. To get that together is a hard thing to do in football, especially coming to a club in Motherwell, and you've got obviously giants like Rangers and Celtic in the lead, and the spend that goes on their transfer budget compared to them. It is a remarkable job he's done, and you couldn't rule out them winning the next 2 games.
And we've spoken a lot about the Aberdeen managerial situation. We touched on the Celtic managerial situation. For you, Scott, who is the right man to take Celtic forward for after the summer? And Jens Bertolausku, we can't hide from the fact he's been talked a lot about in that regard, isn't he?
He's for me. How can you look past him? He's right under your nose. He's come in. You know the sort of budget he's worked with. Players that we've seen in the league for the last 3-4 seasons who haven't performed the way they have this season under him anywhere else. I think he is the man. I think if he goes into Celtic, I think Rangers would be worried if he was the man that got appointed, because they've seen the effect he can have on the team. And obviously I know Andy Hardy, one of my close friends, and works with him day in, day out, and he can't sing his praises any more highly. He thinks he's genuinely special when it comes to coaching, and he's delivering that. We've all seen it week in, week out. There's a consistency there. This isn't just playing out from the back for the sake of playing out. He plays out with a purpose, and what he's done is he's took all the good things in opposition teams. I watched Hibs go to Fir Park against, took everything Hibs were good at away from him at the same time, and putting his game plan in place. And listen, that could have been anything that night. I think they made close to 900 passes, but with a purpose. It's simply incredible. When they go 2 goals up, do you think they're going to lose? No, because they have the control, and that comes from the clarity that Jens Bertolausku has instilled in that Motherwell side.
Willie, would it surprise you at all if that was the direction Celtic went in eventually?
I was going to say, I would take him up here.
Why are you laughing? I know I shouldn't be laughing at that. I shouldn't be laughing at that.
Without doubt you would. I mean, I think Celtic should look in that direction. You know, watching them, and you know what about the goals against column? It's quite incredible how because he doesn't really have defenders, not big defenders, not
full-backs.
Guys, it is, and somehow he's managed to blend that team, put that team together, and I think it is a team. It's a team unit that defends. It's not just the back four. They retreat very quickly, but they retreat with a kind of a positive attitude as well. So, and the football they play is quite sensational. Thoroughly enjoy watching them. So I think anybody that's looking for a new manager, he is a man. Surely you would go and at least. And I would be surprised if they haven't, maybe Aberdeen and Celtic, would they not have?
Think Rangers will be looking at him.
spoke to someone that might know him, that might say to him, "Do you fancy this gig?"
I'm just glad to see a smile on your face finally, Willie, as you think about watching Motherwell.
It's before the game started, isn't it? Give me time.
We are here for Aberdeen versus Celtic, and it has been a very, very tough watch for Aberdeen fans for a decade here against Celtic. I should just get your predictions for this evening. Willie, do you hold out hope for your old side this evening?
Hold out hope, yeah, but I couldn't predict anything other than Celtic won't lose again. But you never know. Listen, it's a one-off. You asked me going into the final, do I think Aberdeen was going to win the Scottish Cup final? Right. I would have said no. So anything can happen in a game of football.
Very briefly, Scott.
Yeah, I think Celtic win tonight. So off the back of the game at the weekend, they know how important this game is. I'm going to go Celtic win.
It's all about to get started here at Pittodrie underneath the lights. Commentary this evening does come from Scott Allen, Willie Miller and Liam McLeod.
Thank you. Yeah, there's not much room for error for Celtic right now, as they look to move to within 5 points of the leaders' hearts with a win here at Pittodrie, which is something they do more often than not. Unbeaten in 27 league games all told against Aberdeen, who've only won 2 of the last 44 meetings, and that includes the penalty shootout at the end of the Scottish Cup final last season. They have huge issues with this fixture. And as the guys were saying, not since February 2016 have they beaten them in their own place. Most recent league win against them was in May 2018 at Celtic Park. And they haven't kept so much as a clean sheet against Celtic here since December 2001, during Martin O'Neill's first spell. Early on in Martin O'Neill's first spell, and goals from Winters and Mackey saw the Dons win 2-0. And what was a rare defeat for Martin O'Neill here. His record: played 9, won 6, drawn 2, lost 1. And it's his first trip to Pittodrie since a 1-0 win in January 2005, when Chris Sutton scored the only goal of the game. The two captains down below us, in front of the sponsors banner, having a chat with tonight's referee, who is Nick Walsh. So just confirmation that Celtic have had to make that late change. Dane Murray drops out with an eye injury, so he's been replaced by Benjamin Arthur, who makes his first start for the club on loan from Brentford. Second appearance, having come off the bench against Hibernian. For Aberdeen, it's Mitov in goal, Jensen, Milne, Malloy, Frame, Nielsen, Geiger, Olusanya, Armstrong, Cameron, Nisbet. For Celtic, it's Sinisalo, Araujo, Arthur, Scales, Tierney, McCowan, McGregor, Hatate, Yang, Tinektic, Vanchara. The Celtic players in their huddle. Off to our right, we're at the back of the main stand, about midway inside what will be the Celtic half. So to the right of the halfway line. The Celtic players right in front of us. One last word from their skipper as they break away from that. It looks as though it will be the visitors who's going to get things underway here. Luke McCowan moves to the centre spot. Celtic right to left in the green and white hoops. Aberdeen all in red. We'll shoot towards the King Street, Merkland Road, red shed end of the stadium. Celtic towards the beach. And it is a huge occasion for the champions as they kick the match off. It's rolled back to Tierney, who shifts it to Hatate on this near side. It does look as though Aberdeen are starting with a back 5 there, with Nielsen anchoring that, Malloy and Milne either side of him, and the two wing backs, which makes sense given the lack of width further up the pitch for Aberdeen. Willie Miller.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about it before the game that it was a possibility. I didn't think Aberdeen would go that way, but when I heard Peter Leven talking about tweaking the system, then they went back to what was successful in the cup final. which was the back five formation with Nielsen, although Peter did throw a wee wobbly in saying a little change in midfield. That little change in midfield meant that Nielsen went back into being the centre of the back three, and yeah, it does allow the wing backs to get a forward more often than what they probably would have done if it was a back four.
It's 1 win in 12 for Aberdeen in the league as it comes forward into the Celtic box. It's hooked away by the former Aberdeen loanee Scales. Almost fell for Olasanya. Breaks to Chwanchara, who's fouled by Nielsen. Free kick Celtic midway inside their own half. Scott Allen, how will Celtic combat that? Slight tweak from Aberdeen defensively.
I think from a Celtic perspective, you just got to move the ball quick, work it side to side, try and create the distances for Aberdeen to beat. This he just gave it away straight away there. You've got to move the ball side to side, especially against a five, and then can you get your Hitatis, even Teneke when it's on the opposite side, coming into that little pocket and causing problems to move them about. I think that's the main thing. It is frustrating when you're the team and you're playing against a team with that sort of setup, but the biggest thing in it is patience, and when you're moving the ball, you've got to move it at a pace.
Throwing Aberdeen over on the south stand side, bowled in by the former Celtic youngster Mitchell Frame. Comes back to Armstrong, he finds Nielsen, squares it along the edge of his own box for Milne. He goes back to Mitov, who hits it first time with the right foot. That's going to drop onto the roof of the main stand though. There'll be a throw in to Celtic on this near side. Dimitar Mitov has surprisingly found himself back in the Aberdeen starting 11 after a series of blunders. Saw him dropped for Brotveit, who's out injured for a couple of weeks, I think. So that comes back to Sinisalo, and he plays it short to Benjamin Arthur.
Well, he slashes at it, Mitov there. I mean, he's got plenty of time. He's not under too much pressure, and you know, I think that's one of the things that got him out the team in the first place, where it makes the back four, back five a little bit nervous.
Long one for Olasanya. He can't quite get onto it. It comes through to Sinisalo. Pulls it to McGregor and to Scales and out to Tierney. Martin O'Neill will be desperate for a much better first half performance than Celtic served up at Ibrox at the weekend, as Milne slides in to prevent it getting to Teneke. Long ball down the right which Nisbet chases. Scales trying to shepherd it from him. He's done that, wins it back, plays it forward to Hatate. Two Aberdeen men around him. Lovely spin and flicks it with the outside of the right. Finds Teneke. Now it's McCowan. Darts across the halfway line, fires it forward, breaks to the right side for Yang, went through Frame. It's Yang out to the overlapping Araujo. He's level with the Aberdeen penalty spot, up against Malloy, dancing towards the byline, cuts back and rolls it back low to Hatate at the edge of the box, and it comes, and Mitov gathers with both gloves. And in the very early stages of the game, 3.5 on the clock, it remains Aberdeen 0, Celtic 0.
I think that's where you see the best of Hatate there, taking the ball with real pressure from the Aberdeen players. I think he had three around him. He's got that low centre of gravity. He actually likes the contact and just shuffles away. Nice ball to Teneke. Teneke opens up with one pass, and Celtic were away down the other side.
Over on the right comes Celtic. It's Yang, who's level with the penalty spot, getting to the byline, fires it across, comes off Milne, breaks to Tierney at the edge of the area, encouraged to shoot. Eventually he does. He's going to have to set over the corner as it spins off Lyle Cameron, and behind the first corner of the match, which goes to Celtic.
I think we both sitting up here thought that Tierney was going to take that first time it was on to do it, wasn't it? I mean, there was a reasonable gap as well for him to have a strike. I think when he's taking the touch, then he's taking away the momentum from the strike, and it's well blocked at the end of the day. But first big opportunity to Celtic.
Be taken in front of the Pataudry tunnel by Luke McCowan, who's going up against his ex-Dundee teammate Lyle Cameron tonight. In from McCowan, there's a flick towards goal, it's stabbed into the net, and Celtic lead from 6 yards out. Kieran Tierney stabs it into the roof of the net. Aberdeen statuesque, not for the first time this season, and the champions have a huge goal here in the Granite City inside the first 5 minutes. Aberdeen 0, Celtic 1. So simple.
Yeah, Aberdeen simply don't defend set pieces particularly well. It's been their downfall for most of the season. It's Liam Scales that gets it, and it's quite simple. I mean, how Scales is his marker blocked? There might have been a block there. That happens. It shouldn't happen. And Scales somehow manages a overhead left foot kick that drops right in front of Tierney. Doesn't know where it's going, but Tierney gets the final touch and he rifles it into the roof of the net.
Scored that crucial goal at Ibrox at the weekend, Scott, and that's another potentially massive goal for Kieran Tierney personally and for his team.
Yeah, it's the best possible start for Celtic from a set piece as well. Listen, and that then leaves Peter Leaving with decision, do we stay with the 5 because we now need to be a threat going forward. Really poor goal defensively to lose from an Aberdeen perspective. First and second contacts, the basic fundamentals of defending from a set piece. I'm looking there, there's 2 Aberdeen players marking Yang, and Tierney just arrives. There's nobody tracking him. And listen, it's a simple finish in the end, but first and second contacts, Peter Leaving will be really disappointed with that, because that's something that you can control as a team on the park. And Celtic now with a fantastic start in the game.
There's plenty empty red seats inside Pittodrie tonight, and the one thing that has remained pretty consistent recently is that the crowds here have been really, really good, generally averaging around about 17,500, but clearly at some point the form that they've been on, and it's been woeful, is going to have an impact on those who are coming through the turnstiles on a match-by-match basis. And there's a good few haven't fancied this tonight, Willie, and it's a dreadful start for the home support, but for Celtic it's huge.
Yes, it's a brilliant start for them.
Mitchell Frame's made a mess of that. It's Yang, he's in, right-hand side of the box. Turns away from Nielsen, it bounces off the Celtic man last and behind for the goal kick. Just another long ball, and the Aberdeen defence are nervous wrecks.
Yeah, a little bit nervous here from Frame as Yang made the run forward. A really accurate pass, right enough. Might have been offside, but he was on the front foot. He was taking it to the defence, and it wasn't particularly well dealt with. So yeah, I mean, set pieces for Aberdeen have just been disastrous all season, and you know, for allow Liam Scale to get towards the near post and not have him really tightly marked. Can't understand that, and then just switching off when Kieran Tierney drifts in behind everyone as well. So it's a horrible start. The fans have been brilliant all season. Yeah, there's a few empty seats, but still a reasonably healthy crowd, I would suggest. I don't know how, they constantly, turn up, but they do. They're enthusiastic, and they'll be hoping that their team can turn it round tonight.
Geiger flashes it forward to Cameron, out to Jensen wide on the right, and goes back to Cameron, and then rolled back into the centre circle here for Nielsen. Rare start for him, first since the end of November, and a 1-0 win at Livingston, and that came during that period of time that right now is keeping Aberdeen's head above the waterline when it comes to that relegation playoff place. The points accumulated in that spell in the autumn. They had a few 1-0 wins at away games, well, at Livingston, at St Mirren, at Kilmarnock, and that's keeping them out of the battle at the moment. But there's every chance, when you look at the fixture list, that they could be dragged in. As for Celtic, they need to win this game, and for Martin O'Neill, he'll be absolutely elated that they've managed to get that early goal. Tyrone asked him pre-match, he said, be hoping that they can get the business done early in the match tonight, having left it late a lot recently, and here they come again. Tenekti stretching his legs, knocks it with the outside of the right boot to Yang, inside the box, cutting along the 18-yard line. Geiger trying to put the pressure on. Yang rolls it back to Araujo and then touches it out to the right side for Tenekti. Araujo over on the touchline and rolled back to McGregor, and infield for Hatate. Short to McGregor, back to Hatate, rolled along the deck out to Julian Araujo over on the far side. Now it's Hatate into the box for McCowan, and Tenekti to McGregor, shoots, and it's straight at Mitov, who holds on, and it stays Aberdeen 0, Celtic 1, 9 minutes in. But I'll tell you what, Scott Allen, the signs for the hosts here in the early part of this match, 1-0 down, are incredibly ominous.
They really are. We are looking at that there, Liam. Celtic are moving the ball with a bit of slickness, but at the same time they're popping it about you at the edge of your box. As an Aberdeen, you've got to go and engage and make contact with the opposition, and it's so simple. There's not real pressure on the ball at all in that whole sequence, and it ends up with Cal McGregor out his feet, still no block on the ball when he manages to get a strike at Mitov's goal. But I just think with the 5 at the back, if you're going to go long, then you have to get your wing backs higher, because Olasanya is going to be so isolated up there, and it will just come right back at you. And that's what you're seeing with the 5 at the back. If you've got the 5 at the back, you have to play out at times and try and suck this Celtic team out, because they don't have the best press in the league. Celtic, you can play around them if you get it right, and you've got your 2 midfielders want to be brave in the ball, and then it allows you to be more connected and move up the pitch together. At this time, Aberdeen are just giving the ball back, and Celtic look, anytime they go forward, they're going to cause problems.
It is a thigh injury sustained by Dane Murray rather than an eye injury, which forced him out of the starting 11. I've been reliably informed, having been reliably informed it was an eye injury earlier, but it is apparently a thigh problem.
Easy mistake that.
It is, well, exactly, I just heard it wrongly. Anyway, Jensen has a throw in for Aberdeen just inside the Celtic half on this main stand side. Looking for someone in red, he bowls it straight to somebody in green and white though, and now it's with Chwanchara on the halfway line. Rolls it left to right of the centre circle for Araujo. Forward to Chwanchara and then back to Araujo. Lovely run in behind frame. Decides to take it out towards the Celtic supporters on the far side. And flicks it in field here for McCowan. Now it's back with McGregor. And then to Hatate, misunderstanding with Yang, and it goes behind them and out for a throw-in to Aberdeen over on the far side. 11 in, Celtic 1 up. And looking comfortable.
They are looking comfortable, aren't they? They look confident as well. And you're looking at Hatate and McGregor, they link up so well, don't they? I mean, the telepathy, I think, comes to mind when you're watching both of them out there tonight. And it's a tough ask for Aberdeen now to try and get a hold of this game, try to get a grip on the game as well and disrupt Celtic.
Milne to Jensen. Turns in field and then gives it straight to McCowan instead of Geiger, and now it's Hatate to Chwanchara and back to Tinekti. Out wide left, Tierney swings the cross in off Milne. Jensen will prevent the corner on this near side. He dinks it forward. Olasanya can't control. It's now with Arthur, who finds McGregor back onto the centre spot just about for Julian Araujo, and he goes all the way back to Sinisalo, and a short ball to Arthur to his right.
He's got to control that, Olasanya. I mean, you know, it's been something that's been there for everybody to see since coming to the club. Listen, he's got strength, he's got ability, he's got good running power as well, but his ability is on that running power, it's on his pace, it's on his strength, and when the ball's played up to him, invariably he doesn't control it. He missed that ball completely, which, you know, it then just gives Celtic back possession. So, you know, if he's playing up there and he's playing in a central position now with Nisbet, then he's got to do much more to hold the ball up.
His best games for St Mirren came against Aberdeen, Toyosi Olasanya. The problem is Aberdeen aren't going up against a team with Slobodan Rubičić in it, because he was the one who couldn't handle him. McCowan left of the centre circle, loses it, and it's now with Armstrong forward to Cameron. Cameron turning away from a couple of Celtic players. McCowan getting towards him, and he's managed to knock it out to Jensen on the near side. His cross comes in, but it's been a low. Well, the goalkeeper had to pat it over. Looked like that was going on to the roof of the net. Sinisalo turns it behind for a first corner of the evening for Aberdeen. 13 minutes in, 1-0 Celtic.
That was by good fortune, though, wasn't it? You know, Jensen did not mean to put that where it ended up. He's trying to curl it, which is the right thing to do. At least he's being positive, because too many occasions he does play the ball back the way, rather than trying to, you know, put defenders under pressure. He certainly put Sinisalo under pressure there.
Lyle Cameron will take it in swinger with the right foot, comes into the near post, easily away by Yang, and you can see why Aberdeen, I think they've only scored one goal from a set play all season, out with direct free kick goals.
You know, his first couple of games, Cameron, his set pieces, his delivery was top quality, but it just seems to have gone.
Comes all the way back to Mitov. Long ball, Olasanya will chase. Scales will marshal it back to Sinisalo though, and he'll bowl it to Arthur. And then out to Araujo over on the right, and he's got it and rolls it up the line to Yang, and then back to Araujo, who finds Benjamin Arthur. And actually it'll be interesting to see what he can offer. Scott, on loan from Brentford for the rest of the season, wasn't really getting a look in. As I mentioned, he came off the bench against Hibernian, but an opportunity for him potentially to show what he can do. Sinisalo dinks it out to Tierney, and nods it up the line to Tinekti. His header goes straight to Geiger, and it just won't settle on this near side. Tierney, it comes off him, now it's Tinekti, gets a challenge from Milne, and it's still in play here. Jack Milne trying to hold off Tinekti on this near side, and he wins the throw-in off the Tunisian, which Jensen takes quickly to Cameron at the edge of the box, drives into it, pulls it back, blocked by McGregor. Cameron happy to see it behind for the corner. Better from Aberdeen, and Lyle Cameron at the heart of it.
Yeah, good play from Aberdeen. Celtic just switch off on the throw-in. Ball gets thrown into Lyle Cameron. He opens up, drives into the box, just trying to find Kevin Nisbet with a cut back, and it deflects off the Celtic defender, now for a corner.
which will be taken by Stuart Armstrong on this near side. Outswinger with the right foot. As the Dons attack the goal to the right. Former Celtic midfielder, just a glittering Celtic career. Armstrong, right-footed, comes back to Nisbet, hits it first time. It's a man you wanted to be hitting it, but there's a flag gone up here. I think Nisbet's shot's cannoned off. Somebody was in an offside position. Will be a free kick to Celtic, and it will stay 1-0 to Celtic.
We've seen him score these sort of volleys, haven't we? Kevin Nisbet offended, but it's fallen to it. Would be him you wanted on it.
Jensen for Aberdeen up the pitch. Celtic being hemmed in just at the moment. As Cameron rolls it back to Milne, and then infield to Sivert to help the Nielsen. Looked like he might have been away in January. The veteran, as he slips it forward. Geiger wasn't really anticipating it, and it comes right through to Sinisalo. It's a better period from Aberdeen just in the last few minutes, Willie.
Yeah, they've got a foothold in the game. They've been able to, work their way forward and, cause Celtic not too much angst, but a little bit of concern. Mind you, Celtic are bringing it on themselves as well, with all the short passing, and Sinisalo in particular, and Scales on that occasion just dwelling in the ball. And Aberdeen with the front two are putting them under pressure. They're putting the two centre backs under pressure, so it's given, I think, the players, Aberdeen players behind them, a little bit of confidence that they can push up.
Yeah, it was Olasanya charging down. Scales goes out off him last though. Celtic throw in on the near side. 1-0 to the visitors. It's bowled up to halfway. Tinekti flicks on. It breaks though to Gavin Malloy. He's only just recently returned to the fold. He actually talking about Rubezic earlier. Malloy and Rubezic were the middle two at the back at the start of last season. Aberdeen hit the ground running as Frame comes down the left hand side. Low ball into the box is cleared by Hatate. Back to Malloy. Short ball first time to Cameron. Cameron then out to the left side for Frame. Takes a touch with the left foot, crosses in. Olasanya gets something onto it. Bouncing ball. Nisbet's got his back to goal. He turns, blocked by Arthur. Breaks to Cameron. Back in towards Olasanya. Goes down. Shout for a penalty, which is given. Olasanya fouled in the Celtic box, and Aberdeen have a penalty and an opportunity to cancel out that Tierney opener in the 18th minute.
I'm not too sure what it's given for. Olasanya goes down. Liam Scales impede him? I don't see that as being a foul or a free kick in the box. Getting another little view on it. There is a little bit of contact, I would suggest. I don't know if it's enough for Olasanya to go down in the manner that he did. Bit of contact, and Olasanya goes down, and I think it'll probably stand now, having seen the replay.
He actually does well, Olasanya, just to get his body in front of the ball and Scales. Obviously, he initiates the contact. I can't see this being overturned. Just felt before that as well, Nisbet had the chance to just slip it to Lyle Cameron, didn't he?
Yeah.
Penalty stands, and Kevin Nisbet is spotting the ball up. Celtic lead through Kieran Tierney. He opened the scoring inside the first 5 minutes. But Kevin Nisbet here stands over the ball. Sinisalo's just cleaning his studs off his post there, and now he's at the centre of his goal. Celtic, and a penalty of their own eventually on the rebound, scored by Hatate at Ibrox. This is a huge moment. Nisbet right-footed and scores! And Sinisalo goes the wrong way. Kevin Nisbet equalises for Aberdeen with his 8th goal of the season. This one from the spot. And Celtic have found themselves embroiled in a battle again. It is Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
And he takes it really well, doesn't he? Kevin Nisbet, full of confidence. His run up is pretty straightforward. It's a right foot, and he's aiming for the right hand corner, and he finds it. Sinisalo goes to his right, the opposite way from the ball, and it rifles into the back of the net. So it's confident. It was cool. He looked a confident player taking the ball and running up to it as well. We all know what he's capable of, Kevin Nisbet, and he gets Aberdeen back into the game, and in the last 5 minutes or so they deserve it because they've been playing well.
It actually came from Olasanya pressing Scales on the touchline and getting real pressure on the ball. Celtic trying to play through the midfield, and Aberdeen getting a bit of pressure on, and it just kind of swings the game. You could feel the energy in the stadium starting to put Celtic under a little bit of pressure. And listen back, and he gets a fantastic penalty from Kevin Nisbet. Really controlled finish.
Just little things like Olasanya closing Scales down on this touchline here. It gets the fans with you. perhaps gets the team going as well. Just little moments like that, Willie, can make a huge difference.
Well, it does, and you know, particularly the way Celtic are playing at the back as well. I mentioned that just before the incident, where you know, Celtic were very poor, very uncertain in the build-up. Listen, if you're playing two centre-backs and a goalkeeper, you've got to have some idea of how it's going to end up. You've got to have a picture where you're going to go with it. And the back three, the two centre-backs and a goalkeeper, have not got a clue how they're going to get out of the press from Nisbet and Olasanya, and the press from the Aberdeen midfield as well.
Well, Celtic, remember, have to win this game. They are already ahead of kick-off tonight, 8 points in arrears at the top of the table. They simply have to win. And Aberdeen have hauled themselves back into contention in this one. And it's 1-1, and it's Tinekti along the midway point, the Aberdeen half for Araujo, over to the right touchline for Yang. Scampering in field away from frame, but he overhits the pass to the outside of the boot, and it goes behind for the goal kick. And Martin O'Neill suddenly is a ball of frustration down there. 21.5 minutes on the clock at 1-1.
Well, they kind of lost control of the game, to be perfectly honest, after that first goal going in. And Aberdeen, give Aberdeen credit, they took control of the game. They were brave. There was good movement. Stuart Armstrong, you know, took part in the game. You know, Lyle Cameron was prominent as well. So, you know, when they had that dominance, then they've used it well. They've got the equaliser as two, and they thoroughly deserve that equaliser.
There's Cameron picking up in the midfield and calmly rolling it back to Nielsen. Looks like a real class act, Lyle Cameron. We know that. We saw that at Dundee. He's back to Nielsen, who clips it forward with the left foot, looking for frame underneath it with the head. Is Araujo. Now it's with Hatate on the halfway line. The short ball back to McGregor, who plays it back to Scales. He was here a few years ago. As Geiger clearly fouled Hatate, and Hatate's reacted to that as he went to the ground, and it'll be a Celtic free kick.
He just dragged him to the ground, though. We see Neil Lennon in the stand as well, obviously watching the game with the weekend in mind.
Oh, what a tie that could be. And full coverage of the Scottish Cup quarter-finals across BBC Scotland this weekend on the telly. Friday night it's Falkirk Dundee United, sold out Falkirk Stadium. Saturday night Dunfermline Aberdeen. And at the two on Sunday as Armstrong well, he gave it away, the chance to get Aberdeen going again. It's come off the referee though. Will be a drop ball. Rangers Celtic on Sunday, and that will be followed by that final tie in the last 8 as St Mirren host Partick Thistle. What a weekend that could be. Anyway,
it could be, yeah. But the game tonight, it's really poor from Celtic when they're trying to build it up, when the two centre-backs are pinging it to the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper hasn't a clue what he's going to do with it. So,
well, here come Aberdeen again here into the Celtic box. They enter, but Nisbet can't control this time. Celtic giving away. It's Armstrong now. Olasanya at the edge of the box. Framed to his left, can't find him, and it's dug out by Arthur and out for an Aberdeen throw-in. Which, listen to the home fans now as well. You kind of feel Aberdeen need probably just another couple of victories, and then you can start forgetting about that 11th place. Perhaps even 2 wins between now and the end of the season would do them. But this is an important game for them as well. There's every chance they could still be dragged into that as Milne clips it forward, but it will be all about the Scottish Cup for them, you feel. And that match at East End Park coming up on Saturday night is going to be one of the ties to behold, I would have thought, for the holders. So Scales takes a throw in midway inside his own half, infield to Arthur, finds Araujo and out to Yang on the far side. Celtic actually started the game quite slickly, found themselves ahead early on, but it's 1-1 after 25 minutes.
It's 15 minutes. Aberdeen have had the last 15 minutes of the game since Celtic took the lead, and Celtic are uncertain. They're uncertain where they're going with this in terms of putting Aberdeen under pressure, particularly at the back. I think the Aberdeen press is working really well.
Yeah, it's good, really. They went man for man in there, and if you're the team on the building, you have to be moving, you can't be static. That's the only way to beat man for man.
This is the polar opposite of the Aberdeen performance at Tynecastle on Saturday. They were so ponderous, sat off Hearts, allowed Hearts to have the ball, but they're harassing and harrying these Celtic players tonight, and it's making a difference. But that's a foul there by Nielsen. He'll go into the book for that, I would have thought. Yes, he has done. So he hauls Chvanchara down right of the centre circle. The big Celtic striker was away there. It's kind of rugby tackle from Nielsen, and he's booked, and it's 1-1 here at Pittodrie, and a Celtic free kick right of the centre circle in the Aberdeen half.
He'll need to watch what he's doing, Nielsen. You know, he's had a word there with the referee. Don't know what he said, but ref not too happy with it, and I think he's having a word to tell him, you know, less of the back chat. I can't condone that, to be perfectly honest. Any player out in the park having a go at the referee.
Yes. Very good. Here's Tenekti driving down the left for Celtic. Little ball in field to McGregor, and he's helped it on its way to Araujo. Looks up at the Aberdeen box, and under pressure from Armstrong, goes out to the right side for Yang. Then back to Arthur, right of the centre circle, and into it for Scales. Finds McGregor. First time ball forward from McGregor to McCowan. It's better from Celtic. McCowan driving up to the edge of the Aberdeen box, unchallenged. Still he's unchallenged. You go into it, and he finds Tenekti infield to McGregor. Scuffed effort at goals, blocked by Nielsen, and Cameron gets it away forward to Nisbet. Olasanya's on his bike here. Scales will have to be careful, but he was. And it's a calm first time ball back to Sinisalo, who plays it to Arthur. The action swinging from one end to the other. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
Yeah, it just lacked that right foot strike from McGregor, didn't it? Because he was brilliant in the build-up play, playing the little passes and you know, round the back of players as well. A pass that normal players don't actually see, and then the ball falling to him just inside the box, and he swings at it with the right foot and just mishits it.
McGregor has it in the centre circle and rolls it along the halfway line to Tierney to his left. Tierney carries it forward, plays it short to Hatate, and then back to Tierney and back into his own half for Scales, who sweeps it left to right there to Arthur, who drives forward, leaves it for Yang on the far side touchline. Infield to McGregor, and McGregor at close quarters is Hatate. Back to McGregor, and the skipper switches it right to left of the circle to Tierney. Almost got it through to Chvanchara, blocked by Jensen. Forward to Nisbet, he finds Geiger. Back to Nisbet, couldn't quite return the favour. Aberdeen still looking for the ball in the centre circle. Celtic have emerged with it though with McGregor. Rolls it to Tenekti, left hand side. Chvanchara's waiting in the middle. Others arriving, he goes himself and ripples the side net, and that will be a goal kick to Aberdeen. I think some Celtic supporters thought that had gone in, because the net moved as the ball hit the side of it, and it stays Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1 on 28 minutes.
It's a good break from Celtic. They're obviously turning over the ball. Callum McGregor, lovely way to pass to Tenekti, and you think he's going to come in and try and find that far corner. Tries to do a meet over the eyes, and it just goes by the post. Both teams trying to play football tonight. That's what I would say. There's been some good passes from both sides, as Aberdeen do it again, working into the middle of the park with Armstrong.
Of the 42 points available for Aberdeen, or to Aberdeen, against top 6 sides this season, they've only collected 4 of them. 3 against Hearts, 1 against Motherwell. Here comes Celtic again down the right. Run forward by Chvanchara, gets the cross in. Aberdeen head clear, and Jensen, can Nisbet keep it in play? He has done, but he's just hoofed it forward into the midfield. Dreadful touch there by Arthur, and it's pinched back by Lyle Cameron. Cameron driving forward, Olasanya ahead of him. Armstrong getting there too. He's found Stuart Armstrong, and his little chip comes back across into the 6-yard box, but over the bar it goes, and that's a goal kick to Celtic. But again, really good, tenacious work by Lyle Cameron in the engine room to get onto that, but Armstrong couldn't quite find anyone at the back post. You could see what he was trying to do. It stays 1 apiece at Pittodrie.
Yeah, it's a good run from Stuart Armstrong. He just tried to clip it towards the back post, doesn't manage to do that. But Lyle Cameron, the heavy touch by Arthur, he's right onto it, isn't he? I think he's been pretty prominent, Lyle Cameron, so far. And Aberdeen really giving as good as they're getting just now.
Yeah, here's Cameron up the edge of the box, finds Olasanya left hand side of it, and he'll settle for the corner off Arthur. Again, it's good from Aberdeen. This is as good as they've played in recent weeks.
Oh, without doubt. I mean, you just have to listen to the crowd. The crowd have not seen this last 20 minutes this season, I don't think, particularly against, you know, the top teams. You know, they've had their little moments, but against Celtic, no, I think this has been a really good spell. They'll be hoping to take advantage of it.
4 points out of 42 against the top 6 is testament to that. Aberdeen corner. Cameron in swinger with the right foot from the far side. It's a good one as well, and it's headed over the bar by Malloy, though the whistle goes anyway, and it'll be a Celtic free kick. Half an hour in, 1-1.
It's just about contact nowadays and the set pieces, isn't it? I think it's Jack Milne at the back post that responds to a block and pushes a Celtic player down. Not sure who it was, but the referee got it right.
Yeah, Rojo just waiting for the contact there as soon as he felt him. Down he went. But this is as good as I've seen Aberdeen for all season, to be honest. Some of the interchanges, runners forward now.
No foul on Armstrong. Celtic will play on. The ref is in a good position. It's Luke McCowan driving forward deep into the Aberdeen half to the right of the box. Araujo. It's a low ball in and cleared by Nielsen. Drops to McGregor, who's got no one in red near him. Able to pluck the ball from the sky with the left foot and then plays it out to Araujo on the right touchline. Back to McGregor now with Hatate. Out it comes to Araujo again, about level with the edge of the D of the Aberdeen box. Back to McGregor, who plays it square to Hatate. And then out to Araujo again over on that right hand side. A little chip down the line for Yang. Now it's Hatate. His cross is blocked by Cameron, and Celtic have a corner over on the far side, right in front of their support in the south stand.
It's really good, intricate passing. You know, it goes back, then it goes forward, goes wide, and eventually find a little pocket of space. But Aberdeen defending well. They've got numbers back there, making it really difficult for Celtic to break them down.
Well, Nick Walsh is blowing his whistle. He wants to speak to someone or other. Is that Nielsen getting involved again?
It's a surprise.
He's going to have to be careful. Sivert Nielsen, he's a regular yellow card recipient. He's already on one tonight, and he's going to have to watch what he's doing. It's Chvanchara's the Celtic player, and he's trying to marshal, and they're at it again, the two of them. In comes the corner. Nielsen hits it. Always poor from McCowan, and out it goes for a Celtic throw-in on the far side. It's 1-1 after 32.
Yeah, and nothing said to him. You would think if you're a central defender and you go up for a corner, you're hoping to at least get an opportunity to make it difficult for the defence. And Luke McCowan, just such a poor corner, hitting the first man. You know, there's a defender there, red jersey there, and he's actually got to stoop to clear it with his head. So at this quality, you're expecting more.
Tierney on the halfway line, goes down, challenged by Cameron, bounces off the referee, and eventually Nick Walsh gives Celtic a free kick on the halfway line. Tierney's down.
It's a free kick, isn't it? Just a heavy touch there from Tierney, and I think Cameron just a little bit late. I think he's saying he slipped. Celtic just came off the gas, haven't they? Started the game really well. Just that kind of slackness when they were building out from the back just allowed Aberdeen back into the game. Aberdeen definitely lifts their tails up.
Well, Celtic have dropped points in 11 league games this season. I feel they can't afford to do it too many more times. Here's McCowan laying it to Chvanchara into the box. McCowan chases, but seen behind. And it'll either be a goal kick or a free kick to Aberdeen here. But it's as good as a goal kick, even if it is a free kick, for a foul by McCowan on Frame.
I mean, it was good defending from Frame, because there was a little 1-2 there. The man that should have been back there wasn't back there, so I had to cover his fellow defender, Frame, and make sure that you know, Celtic weren't in behind. So, you know, really good reading of the game, very good defending, because he is playing, you know, pretty far forward. So the instructions are the two wing backs get as forward as you possibly can, and in particular Frame is taking up a really advanced position.
Much kudos going Hearts' way, and rightly so, top of the league going into the business end of the season. But a big reason for that is Celtic have dropped off by 17 points on where they were after 28 games last term. So they're normally in the 70s at this point. Celtic, not always, but normally in a regular season they'd be above the 70 point mark. Hearts enough, or Hearts on 63, which is enough to be top of the top flight after 29 as we move towards the final 10 minutes of the opening 45 here at Pittodrie, where it's 1-1.
Yeah, we take nothing away from Hearts. Been an absolutely fantastic season for them, but Rangers and Celtic have not been, particularly Celtic, have not been at their best.
They've both employed their worst managers in their histories.
Exactly,
this season.
So it's been, you know, quite a season for you know, both Old Firm. And that's why I say it's really important for Hearts to take this opportunity.
Yeah, I feel they have to. They're favourites to do so now, as Milne shepherds the ball back into his own box towards the byline, under pressure from McCowan. Eventually plays it off the Celtic number 14 and out for a throw-in on this near side for the Dons, a bit level with their own penalty spot on the main stand side. Kieran Tierney gives Celtic the lead, cancelled out by Kevin Nisbet's penalty. It was just the 4th penalty of the season for the Dons. They've got a 100% record from them. Jesper Karlsson, no longer of this parish, scored the other 3s. Nielsen's fouled there by Tvanchara, and it's an Aberdeen free kick. Just on the cusp of their defensive third. And Nielsen, I think, is going to leave this for Dimitar Mitov to take. And of course, Mitov, one of the big heroes in last season's Scottish Cup final in that penalty shootout. And he saved from Callum McGregor and from Alistair Johnston to secure Aberdeen's first Scottish Cup in 35 years, something they can still defend. If they play like they're playing tonight, and you give them a better opportunity at doing that, compared to recent performances against some of the other sides. Started well, actually, in fairness, against Dundee here, then completely fell away, having got the lead. And they were made to pay with Liam Morrison being sent off, and a quite wonderful Ethan Hamilton goal won that, one of the best goals you'll ever see here. That long chip for Aberdeen comes up towards Jensen, and he goes down, no foul. It was Tierney who was challenging him. It's with Tvanchara for Celtic. Nielsen sticking with him, and Nielsen winning it back with a little bit of a help from Milne. Infield to Armstrong as a heavy touch, bounces off Armstrong and out for a Celtic throw-in on the near side. It's got a little bit scrappy out there just the last few minutes.
That's a duel to watch, actually, Nielsen Tvanchara. I'll tell you, he's taken a huge amount of responsibility, the Aberdeen number 6. He's right up on top of the striker. He's getting really close to him as well, but he's got that booking. You know, he'll need to play with his head as well as use his physical attributes.
Alexander Jensen down the right, gives it straight to Hatate though, who finds Tierney on this near side, midway inside Celtic's half. It's forward towards McGregor, finds McCowan's a clever quick ball to Sebastian Tenekti. He's driving down the left side. Tvanchara and Yang waiting in the middle. Still it's Tenekti, low ball, Tvanchara, Yang, and then Geiger gets in the way just as it looked like it was going to drop to Tvanchara right in front of goal. And Aberdeen get it away. Araujo keeps it in play at the corner flag on the far side. To the angle of the box for McCowan. Then Yang now with McGregor. McGregor side foot to Tierney. Left foot bends it in. The header back across the Aberdeen 6-yard box, but Mitov's onto it. Tvanchara can't get anything onto it, and it stays Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1 on 38 minutes. Intriguing affair, this.
Yes, absolutely. Celtic taking part in the game, but Aberdeen still very much in it, connected down the left-hand side. You're right, I thought it was going to fall for Tvanchara inside the box there. So listen, you've got McCowan, you've got McGregor, you've got Hatate in that Celtic midfield. They're going to have an impact.
Here's McCowan dancing away from Nielsen, the edge of the box, shooting, blocked by Milne. Pings out to Tenekti wide on the left. Tenekti taking on Jensen, shoots, blocked by Milne, comes to McCowan. Rolls it back to McGregor. McGregor finds Araujo. First time to Yang. Held off well by Malloy, who clears his lines and Scales is to race back into his own half to retrieve and passes it back to Sinisalo.
Yeah, Celtic obviously working the ball side to side. There's some lovely little moves, some interchanges. Just can't quite find the finish at this moment in time. But Aberdeen are defending well. Oh, there's another sloppy one there from Sinisalo.
Yeah, he gets away with it though. I think McCowan felt he was fouled. Benjamin Arthur's on too wide on the right. Goes back to Sinisalo, who clears with the right foot. Martin O'Neill standing at the edge of his technical area. He's always so animated. As Hatate picks up and finds Tierney. Tenekti out on the left. Gets it from Tierney. Tenekti now attacking Jensen. Into the box he goes. Pulls it back to Tierney, who shoots. It's deflected and Mitov holds on. Stays Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1. It's been a good last few minutes for the visitors though.
I don't know what you think, Will, after your Jensen. You don't want to let Tenekti gather speed and get you into the box then, because he's got that little sharpness of feet. And as you see there, I think you need to get him as the ball's going to him. You need to engage with him and make his mind up, because as soon as you're backtracking, he's getting at you in the box. He's got that ability to go by you.
Slip by Hatate allows Geiger to take over. Passes out to the right for Nisbet. Olasanya battling for it with Arthur. down on this near side. Arthur back heels it out for an Aberdeen throw-in level with the Celtic penalty spot on this near side. Jensen's over it. We're in the final 5 minutes of the opening 45. There's stoppages on top of that to come. Jensen gets it to Armstrong, back to Jensen, back to Armstrong, knocks it forward off Hatate, and it breaks back to Rio Hatate on this near side, gives it to Jensen. Now it's with Olasanya, right hand side of the Celtic box. It's a foul by Olasanya on Tierney, and a yellow card for the Aberdeen forward as well. Wow. Oh, he was the one on the ball, but he's left his mark on Tierney in the process, and Olasanya joins Sivert Helton and Nielsen in the book. It's 1-1 here.
Definitely contact, and he knows what he's doing as well, doesn't he?
It's a bit naughty, that.
I think he's trying to separate himself from
Kieran. So?
Yeah, it's one of the things that you open up, you know the contact's coming. Can you get your foot across him? You stop him nicking the ball off you, and I think it's accidental for me. And he's caught Kieran Tierney on an ankle. Looks a sore one.
He has caught him. It's debatable whether it was accidental or not. I had a slightly different opinion on it, to be honest. I've played against strikers like that, believe me, and they can look innocent. But I thought it was intentional. But he is that type of player as well, Scott. I understand, where you're coming from. He's a player that wants to use his body to protect and understand the movement there. But there's no doubt that he's caught Tierney. Absolutely no doubt he's caught him.
Tierney's on his feet, having a word with Olasanya as well. It's a Celtic ball, free kick, the edge of their box, which Scales takes and rolls it back to Sinisalo.
You'd like that from your striker, though, at the same time, Willie, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. If it's in your side, all day long.
Sinisalo's long ball with the right foot flicked on its way by Chvanchara. Milne's underneath it, heads clear. Makes to McCowan in the midfield, to the left there for Tierney, rolls it low out to the left touchline for Tenekti, taking on Jensen again. Driving up a bit level with the 18-yard line now. It wasn't a great touch, allowed Cameron to make a challenge, but Tenekti still has it, and he passes it back to Scales. Now forward to McGregor and into the centre circle for Arthur. And then out to Araujo on the right side. Forward it comes to McCowan. Two red shirts around him, back to Araujo. And McGregor right of the centre circle, telegraphed that pass, and Cameron's onto it. Little spin when he loses it to McGregor. Now it's Yang, now it's McCowan. McGregor in the box, left-footed, shots blocked, breaks back to Kieran Tierney, whose shots blocked as well. Quite a lot of that tonight. Cameron wins it back off Hatate, and then in goes Tierney on Cameron. Ball was won though. Geiger picks up the scraps, and a poor pass for Olasanya with Nisbet in loads of space. And was surely the preferential option there, and he would have been in on Sinisalo. It stays Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, Geiger's got the two choices there, and without any doubt at all, it's Kevin Nisbet that he should play it to. He doesn't see it. He's been rather anonymous, actually, Geiger, in the game. The other two midfield players have been better. Leo Cameron, I think, again showing a lot of tenacity, a lot of determination, as well as a fair amount of skill.
Scales with a clip ball lookage for Chvanchara. Nielsen gets the head onto it, had to. Chvanchara was right behind them, and it's knocked forward by Milne to Cameron. Now Olasanya, who's fouled by Hatate. Free kick Aberdeen. No further punishment though for Hatate, and you can hear the howls of derision from the Aberdeen supporters around about us, having just watched Toyosi Olasanya go into the book. And joining Nielsen there. There's no yellow card forthcoming for Hatate, and it did look a little bit cynical, so he's perhaps fortunate to get away without getting a caution there, Willie.
To be perfectly honest, Liam, I thought Olasanya made a bit of a meal of it. There was contact, it was cynical. Was it a booking? Listen, it's borderline. Don't want to see too many bookings in a game, so I don't know is the answer to that question.
There's going to be a couple of minutes added on at the end of the first half here. We're into the final minute of the 45. One apiece. Tierney and Nisbet trading goals. It's now with Dennis Geiger on this near side for Aberdeen in the Celtic half. He forced back the way though, and into the Dons half it goes for Nielsen. Scoops the ball forward with the right foot. Jensen going after it towards the byline. She's going to skip away from him though, and it is a goal kick to Celtic, who are in a battle again. Nothing's coming easy for them just now. All these wins recently have been by single goals, and they're having to stress it out all the way through to the closing stages of these matches to get results, including that draw at Ibrox on Sunday. The cup win over Dundee, scored late to take it to extra time. Sinisalo, dreadful ball out again, goes straight to Cameron in the centre circle. There's that game at home against Livingston, late winner. The game at Kilmarnock, late winner there. As the 2 minutes I mentioned are confirmed down below us, we're into the first of them. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1. And again, Sinisalo's balls out from the back have left a lot to be desired tonight.
They're uncertain, you know, and I don't see why you should play that way. Yeah, you maybe want to play that way, but when you're two centre-backs and your goalkeeper's so uncertain, you've got Swankara, who is what, 6'1"? Must be 6'1", is he?
He's taller than that, I think.
Yeah, he's taller than Nielsen. So why don't you know, on the odd occasion, go up to him and then support it? I know it's no Celtic's way, but you know, if Aberdeen are pushing you, and they have pressed you, the high press has been really important for Aberdeen. I don't know why Celtic don't change it.
Celtic have it as they drive forward down the left side. It's Tenekte in the box, plays it across, blocked by Milne. Corner given. The Celtic fans want a penalty for handball, and there's going to be a corner to Celtic down on this left-hand side. The last time they had a corner here, it came inside the first 5 minutes.
I tell you what, like,
Kieran Tierney scored, but Willie's perhaps spotted that this has come off the hand of Jack Milne.
Yeah, I think they'll have to check it. You know, listen, it's not far out from his body, but it's slightly out, and it definitely comes off his forearm. So I think the decision from VAR is, was it out with his body enough to give a penalty? Because it's hit his arm, and they're saying no, it's not.
They have checked it, there's no penalty.
Close to his body, but it definitely hits his forearm. Absolutely, definitely does.
Corner only for Celtic. McCowan over it, outswinger with the left foot in front of the tunnel, and it comes headed away to the edge of the box, breaks to Julian Araujo, who then plays it square to McGregor. That's the 2 minutes up as the corner comes in. It's a header from Yang, back across the face of the 6-yard box, breaks to McCowan, left hand side. His little chip back across is eventually smashed away by Milne as the half-time whistle goes. At Pittodrie, the home supporters a lot happier with what they've seen in what was an opening 47 minutes here, despite falling behind through Kieran Tierney's goal. As he finished from close range after Scales helped it on from the corner. It's a 5th goal since returning to the club for Tierney as he fired it into the roof of the net to give Celtic the lead in a game they really have to win. The points they've spilled in 11 league games this season could potentially prove massively costly to a club that's got used to winning again over the course of the last decade or so. For Aberdeen, well, they've been so poor this season, but in those opening 47 minutes, as I say, it's much more like it from their point of view. And Kevin Nisbet finished from the penalty spot after Olasanya was fouled by Scales inside the box. A little bit unfortunate for Liam Scales. He wasn't really looking at Olasanya, he was looking at the ball, but there was the slightest touch on the Aberdeen attacker, and Nisbet dispatched the penalty with aplomb, sending Guilherme Sinisalo the wrong way. And once again, Celtic have a heck of a lot of work to do if they are to reduce the arrears at the top of the Premiership. This is their game in hand. Even if they win this, they will still be 5 points behind Hearts. At the moment, that gap is 7, because at half-time here in the North East, it is Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
The Scottish Premiership.
Live on Sports Sound.
Scottish football lives here.
On BBC Radio Scotland.
And Dunfermline are heading to the last day of the Scottish Cup.
Home of progression.
Celtic have turned this tie around.
Home of redemption.
And Aberdeen look to get back into the quarters and defend their trophy.
Home of drama.
They are surging into the quarter-finals of the Scottish Cup. Rangers 8, Queen's Park 0.
Sportsound is home of the Scottish Cup quarter-finals. Dunfermline versus Aberdeen, Saturday from 7 p.m. and Rangers versus Celtic on Sunday from noon. Listen on digital radio or ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Scotland Extra.
An utterly absorbing first half here at Pittodrie between Aberdeen and Celtic, and the half-time score is 1 apiece. A huge, huge half coming up for Celtic in particular, Aberdeen as well. Can they turn around this bad run of current form? They haven't won any of the last 5 Premiership matches, Aberdeen. They've lost 4 of them ever since that 6-2 victory against Livingston. It's gone pear-shaped from Aberdeen's point of view in the league. Getting something tonight would mean so much to Peter Leven's side, but only halfway there. As for Celtic, well, it's all about the title race, and this would be another faltering step in terms of trying to haul back Hearts and Rangers and stave off the threat of Motherwell. If 1-1 is how it finishes this evening, it would mean that Celtic were only 3 points ahead of Motherwell, who could actually leapfrog Celtic on the Saturday, where the steam went to beat Dundee at Dens Park, albeit on goal difference. Motherwell with the best goal difference in the Premiership. As Liam says there at the end of the first half, as it stands, Celtic are trailing Heart of Midlothian, the league leaders, by 7 points. Can they do something about that in the second half? They've shown recently they can make changes that make the big differences in the second half. Just look at the Old Firm derby on Sunday, and they've got plenty of ammunition on the bench. Benjamin Neugren, Alex Oxlade, Chamberlain, just to name two. Dyson Maeda there as well. But can Aberdeen build on the heartening performance that they came into in that first half? Let's speak to Willie Miller and Scott Allen. They've had enough of a breather. Frankly, Willie Miller, I don't know what you're talking about. A hard watch all season. That was pretty good from Aberdeen.
It is, yeah. Listen, if they played like that in every game, I'd have a smile on my face. And you know, they're doing everything that they haven't done all season, and that is they've got close to an opponent. They've got energy. When they get the ball, they actually look as though they know where their teammate is going to be. I think Lyle Cameron in midfield, Stuart Armstrong at times. I think Dennis Geiger is a bit disappointing for me. The two wing backs are pushed up the park. I mean, Frame's starting position is in the halfway line when Mitov's got the ball. Nielsen he's a warrior. He's a warrior. You know, he's not easy in the eye, but I'll tell you what, you know, he takes responsibility. He talks. He leads. He's on that yellow card, so he need to watch himself, because he does get close to an opponent, and if you get too close and you're grabbing them to the ground again, that's how you get booked in the first half. And up front, the two look okay. I still think you need to create more opportunities for them. I think Olusanya is what he is. He's a strong physical presence, and he puts his body, and I think the booking, you know, we'll have to disagree, me and Scott.
It's an interesting debate.
But for me, I thought it was a booking. I reckon he knew exactly what he was doing.
Was he maybe trying to, Scott was saying...
You could say maybe. I know what he was thinking. Okay. But you're in Scott's side, so you can ask Scott that question. But listen, he can be important for Aberdeen. He's through the middle with another partner as well. I think that's where you've got to play him. And I think generally the tweak that Peter Leven has made to the formation has worked really well, really well. You know, I think the Aberdeen fans, you can hear them. It's been a long time since I've heard them getting excited the way they've been excited in the first 45. So they've got to keep that going. And if they can get a victory, then the fans will go away home happy. You might see more seats taken as well. And certainly it would be a relief for everybody involved with Aberdeen if they can keep this type of performance up and actually get a result on the back of it.
I was going to say, and it probably does help what you were saying, Scott. It did kind of look to me like Olusanya was just trying to step out to try and create a bit of space that he could then shield, and accidentally then stands on Kieran Tierney's ankle, which is... It was obviously hugely painful. It was interesting watching Olusanya trying to, I think afterwards, try to say to Kieran Tierney it was just an accident. I don't think Kieran Tierney was in much of a mood to actually listen to him, but he got a yellow card for it. It wasn't the most contentious decision, obviously, involving Olusanya, but you're sticking to your guns that it was an accident?
I'm sticking to my guns, it's an accident. I've taught my son, who's a 10-year-old, to sometimes when he receives the ball, take the touch and then protect with your opposite foot and get it across the defender so they can't get the ball off you. And then I've just seen Olusanya done it. Unfortunately for Kieran Tierney, his foot is in the way, and it looks
so it's
more
Tierney's
nasty.
Fault now,
so it's Tierney's fault, yeah. So I think it's accidental. But what I would say is I think it's been a fantastic first half. Yeah. It's obviously swung both ways at times. What I've been really impressed with Aberdeen is when they have defended in numbers, when they've turned over the ball. Usually when you play against either Celtic or Rangers, it's dead easy to just turn it and get yourself back up the pitch. What they've actually done, they've took the extra pass and they've managed to work their way through Celtic's press and then got it on the other side of Celtic's midfield, and that's then opened the game up for them a couple of times. But the Geiger one, probably the big one for me. It's a pass I don't think he should miss. I think he chooses to go that straight pass through the middle to Olisanya when the angle wasn't there. The ball was, as Willie said during commentary, was, I think Kevin Nisbet had peeled off to the left. If you can play that to his back foot, he's in and goal on his first touch. So that was the sort of moments you have to have a bit of finesse there. It's the wrong decision making. Lyle Cameron, energy, been brave, showed composure at times. He's been a standout for me alongside Stuart Armstrong. Obviously getting older now, but once he lands on the ball, he's got that composure, and I think that's really crucial, especially when you're playing against a team like Celtic. When you do land on it, don't just help it on. Can you show that composure? Work it from side to side. They've done that, and that's the first time I've seen Aberdeen this season look connected in and out of possession. And when you have people 5-10 yards away from you, when you do land on the ball, there's a pass, you work out. Celtic naturally do the counter press, which they've done for years, and if it's not done right, you can play through them, and that's what Aberdeen have done. Celtic at the same time, their build looks like as if it's not been worked on. That's a big surprise for me. Like, a team like Celtic shouldn't be surprised getting pressed with teams in a 4-4-2 shape when they're looking at you to build out. Celtic should be able to have the nous with players on the pitch, forget coaches, but nous on the pitch to play through that. In my opinion, they've played against harder presses than that, but they've just looked nervy at times. Then when it goes back to your goalkeeper, and Sinisalo's forcing into areas where the spare man isn't, and Aberdeen just get motivated by it, and they're right up on top of you. So then every time you play out, Aberdeen understand that they can go and gamble, because if we get the press right, we've got a chance of nicking the ball and getting at this Celtic backline.
It just feels Sinisalo is he's so uncertain when he does get the ball, and the two centre backs are put under pressure by the two strikers. What he's going to do with it, you know, he's got to make his mind up early. He's got to ping it out to one of the wide players if, you know, the midfield's not on. He constantly plays it through the middle and constantly gives it away, or he hits the big striker up top. You know, I don't see anything wrong with that. That
should be very. That's a simple thing to work on from a Celtic point of view. If you get pressed from that side, then you'll have an option to go there. And as you said with Chivanchira, see if they lock on, and Aberdeen have went man for man at times, Sinisalo should be able to drop the ball 50 yards and it comes down at Chivanchira's feet, especially when Nielsen's pressing him such aggressively. If that comes down, he can buy fouls. That isn't as hard as people make out. That Celtic should have worked on that. And that ball into Chivanchira, if Sinisalo doesn't see the shot pass, it's just a clip, and if it brings it, Willie will tell you, if it's in there, Nielsen will feel that he can go and challenge for it. But if you've got it dropping, he just has to stand off and let him take it in.
And Nielsen is having a good game, one of maybe the better games. I know he sometimes gets a bit of criticism from Aberdeen fans. Lots of good performance from an Aberdeen point of view this evening. I was thinking there wasn't that much of a pattern with Aberdeen initially, but then suddenly it seemed to click and Celtic fell away. But we have to talk about Liam Scales. He obviously gets the assist for Celtic's goal. Kieran Tierney in the right place. Aberdeen's defending probably questionable, but then the big contentious issue is the penalty for Aberdeen. We've seen it a few times now. It is a penalty, isn't it, Willie?
Yeah, there's contact. You know, there's contact, and there's contact from behind. I don't think there's too much contact, to be perfectly honest, and I've watched Olisanya on a number of occasions. It does go down quite easily, but there is contact, so there's no problem with that, and I'm not calling out VAR. I just feel that it was a little bit unfortunate for Scales. Maybe he didn't see Olisanya getting in front of him, but you've got to be sharper than that as a defender, and he's thrown his leg out and then he's kind of drawn it back, but the contact has been made. Initially I didn't see the contact, but the contact was made. Olisanya makes the most of it, goes down, so it's a penalty, and Kevin Nisbet, brilliant, absolute fantastic penalty kick. Power, precision, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. So good little spell before that from Aberdeen as well. So listen, the first half there's been nothing in it. Aberdeen have been as good as Celtic, make no mistake about it. They haven't shown that this season, but they're showing it tonight. And I did say there was little signs with the new players coming in, in the transfer window, that things were getting better, but it's never been as good as that. So if they can keep that up in the second half, they've got a chance, not just taking a point, but possibly taking the 3 points.
Scott, it seems to me like Celtic at times in matches seem to go into a bit of a shell, almost like when teams change the way they play against them a little bit, put them under a little bit of pressure. What's your view of it?
I just think the first half again, in line with how the seasons went for Celtic, they play in spells. Started the game really well. I think Callum McGregor's been the best Celtic player for me this evening, playing round the corner passes. Looks as if he's a lot more comfortable with Hatate in close to him where they can bounce DB 5-yarders and try and draw an Aberdeen player out to then play wide into Tanecki, which they've done a few times. Tanecki, at the same time, he's got into some really good areas. He just hasn't been clinical or ended with some sort of assist, which we have seen from him in the last month or so. So there has been parts of the game that Celtic have played really well, in my opinion. I just think, looking at them from that build, that's been an area which has allowed Aberdeen to get into the game and gain some confidence, knowing that if we put pressure on them, we can play them into mistakes, and they have done that. So be interested to see what Celtic team comes out for the second half, because if we're going from how it's been in the last 6-7 weeks, you just don't know what you're going to get from half to half. But there was positives in there. Callum McGregor probably been the key one for me. It's good to see him back playing how we know he can play.
Well, do you expect changes at half-time, Willie? I mean, it's not panic stations from a Celtic point of view in the same way as it was at Ibrox when they were completely outplayed by Rangers. The scores are level at half-time. He does have options on the bench. Would you expect Martin O'Neill just to give the starting 11 instructions to go out there and do better in the second half and then turn to the bench maybe 15-20 minutes in?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I don't think it's been a bad performance from Celtic, and I agree with Scott. I mean, Callum McGregor's been at his best again, you know, and he plays passes that other players don't see, you know, and he links extremely well. I think Hatate could do more in the midfield. I think McGregor's been good, and McCowan could actually be doing. I just think, you know, when they try to build it up from the back, I don't know if they've got enough options in the midfield area to thread the pass through, because it keeps breaking down when Sinisalo tries to play the pass into
there was a few times, Willie, though, when Sinisalo's on the ball, when Hatate's dropped really deep into the 18-yard box, and he's done it sharp. So that should, as much as it's in the 18-yard box, if you're on the same page, it just comes into Hatate's right foot and he switches it first time, you're out the other side. But that's when we're talking about having that connection between players. It just doesn't look there, does it? It looks really hesitant.
It doesn't.
And when you're that in between way, as you know, well, you can cause yourself your own problems, and Celtic have at times in this first half.
And Sinisalo is a culprit, you know, because he doesn't look as though he knows what he's doing. Everything's a little touch, I'll take another little touch, and then he's closed down, then the options are gone. So I think he needs to sharpen up and use the ball much better and quicker, and look as though he's a goalkeeper that knows what he's up to.
So huge match coming up on Sunday for Celtic, obviously. Does Kasper Schmeichel, if he recovers from his illness?
I can't believe we went early on that at half time. Charles,
does he come back in?
Does he come back in? No, I think Sinisalo done enough at the weekend. Listen, it's one of the games tonight where it just isn't clicking at this moment in time on the ball. You won't get away with that, I don't think, at Ibrox. Tonight, Aberdeen, they've set up well. Aberdeen have definitely played their part, they've made it really competitive. But a big second half for both teams.
Certainly is. It's all about to get started. A big 45 for both sides. The commentary team tonight is Scott Allen, Willie Miller and Liam McLeod.
Yeah, too right. It's a big 45 minutes for both. Aberdeen just trying to move themselves further away from all that 11th place nonsense. Celtic, when it comes to the title, have to win games. They've too often dropped points in matches like this season. As Nick Walsh gets the second half underway, Aberdeen in the red, going right to left, kick off towards the beach end. Richard Donald stands Celtic in the green and white hoops. No changes for either team at the start of the second half. So Aberdeen start with Mitov in goal. It is Jensen, Milne, Malloy and Frame. It is Nielsen in there as well, with Geiger in the middle with Cameron, Olusanya, Armstrong and Nisbet. And for Celtic, Sinisalo in goal, it is Araujo, Arthur, Scales and Tierney, McCowan, McGregor, Hatate, Yang, Tanecki, Vanchara, and it's Aberdeen on the ball with Frame in the Celtic half, down the left-hand side of the box for Cameron, up against McGregor, gets the cross in, headed away by Arthur. Bouncing ball's awkward for Malloy, now it's with Nielsen, knocks it out to Cameron, this near side. I think they felt that Malloy had a bit of the jersey of Vanchara's. The cross comes in from the left, Celtic bundle it away through Hatate. Back in by Jensen, Armstrong's header down, can't quite find Nisbet. Celtic clear, only as far as Milne over on the far side. When the pressure these Celtic players are under must be intense. And as Geiger comes forward, out to the right, it's Jensen. It's a floaty, looping ball into the box, which is headed away by Yang. Aberdeen starting the second half on the front foot, and Celtic sitting back. Armstrong out to the left-hand side for Frame. Back to Cameron, level with the edge of the D. It's with Stuart Armstrong on his right side, rolls it to Geiger. Geiger on the turn from McCowan, finds Malloy, forward to Armstrong. Aberdeen trying to find a way through. Frame's cross, a good one, the header! What What a save by Sinisalo to deny Nisbet. Unbelievable goalkeeping from the Finn, that, because that's heading for the top right corner. Kevin Nisbet's header, and Sinisalo with an outstanding save to deny him. Corner only.
Cannot believe it. Cannot believe the quality of that save. And absolutely brilliant header from Kevin Nisbet, because it's not an easy header to take. His position is absolutely fabulous, and what a save from Sinisalo.
That was about 23 passes there from Aberdeen, worked it really well.
Cameron takes the corner. Milne's header's poor, really should have done better there as he heads it. He caught it too thickly in the head. It goes behind for the goal kick. It was good play by Aberdeen. I think Jonathan asked there just before the end of the half-time interval, would Kasper Schmeichel come back into the reckoning for the cup tie? Not if Sinisalo's making saves like that, he won't be. Because there's every chance that goes past Schmeichel.
We've seen the ones go past Schmeichel. It was a fantastic save from Sinisalo, but Aberdeen have got Celtic pinned in here.
Performance from them so far in the second half. Armstrong, left-hand side frame, across into the Celtic box, is blocked at the near post by McGregor. Then Yang on this near side managed to get away from Malloy, who might be penalised anyway because he was a bit late, albeit he didn't make any contact with Yang. It will be a Celtic free kick. Just about midway inside their own half. 1-1 at Pittodrie, 3 into the second half, and Aberdeen have come out firing in all cylinders.
Unbelievable. But that is, I mean, we're watching a replay of the save. It's quite sensational, but as far as Aberdeen's concerned, absolutely. Listen, I don't know where this performance has been all season. It is top drawer, top quality. Celtic really struggling to cope with Aberdeen in every good sense of the way, and football sense, both defensively and offensively, and the way they're zipping the ball about as well and creating opportunities.
Tierney out to Tinecti. Celtic attack for the first time since the turnaround. It's with Hatate. Left angle of the box, square ball, finds Araujo. Araujo rolls it to the right angle of the box for Yang, stabs it back to McGregor. To Araujo and to McGregor, and in field to Hatate. Steps away from Cameron. Forward it comes to Chvanchara, looking to get it on the left foot. Milne gets a foot on it and clears, and out with Cameron, who's had an excellent night so far. And he rolls it back to Mitov, who fires it forward with the right foot. Underneath it is Arthur. His touch takes it to Araujo on this near side, under pressure from Olasanya. He goes back to Arthur. And a short ball to McGregor. And to Arthur, who was a late arrival in the starting 11 for Celtic tonight after the injury sustained by Dane Murray, who was initially named by Martin O'Neill. Long ball, Yang can't get onto it. Malloy's headed away. It breaks to McCowan right to the centre circle. He plays it onto the centre spot for Hatate. He finds Tierney. It's a dreadful touch by Tierney. Allows Jensen to win it back, and out with Nisbet. Scales has committed himself. Nisbet knocking it forward, looking for Olasanya. Arthur's there, and he puts it out for an Aberdeen throw-in over on the far side. One apiece at Pittodrie.
Well, Aberdeen are giving Celtic something to think about, aren't they? I mean, they've started the second half in fire, basically controlling the game. Celtic really struggling to get a foothold in the game, and playing with a lot of confidence. The shape is working superb for Peter Leven. The little tactical tweak is working superbly well. And they look like a team that have played together for some time, and I haven't been able to say that as Malloy just puts it out the park and allows possession back to Celtic.
There's Hatate for Celtic. Now it's McCowan at the edge of the Aberdeen box to the right of the D. Finds Tierney. Tierney now is going to have a go. It's deflected off Milne and behind for a Celtic corner. It is 1-1, 50 and a half on the clock. Celtic are in a battle again here. Nothing's coming easy to them these days. So often we've seen them at this stage of the season with a massive gap at the top to enjoy in the league. But the as it stands table has them 7 points behind the leaders' Hearts, having played the same number of matches with just 9 left. They're running out of matches. Corner, outswinger, left-footed from McCowan, and it comes Scales with the headers wide. Quite well wide in the end. It's a weak header down into the ground, and it skips behind. Goal kick Aberdeen, 1-1.
You know, he should do better, I think, Liam Scales there. But I just, who is picking him up? I mean, he gets away for the first goal, and then he's on his own there with a header. It's a poor header. You know, he doesn't meet it with any power at all, his forehead, but he's free. In the box, free, maybe about 10-12 yards out. Should at least be hitting the target.
I think from Aberdeen view, if you're you're playing this well within the game, you're making it really competitive. To switch off from set pieces would be so frustrating if you're Peter leaving. The setup doesn't look right. Scales has been free now twice in areas of the park where you just can't be allowed to go and have a free header.
Armstrong over the top looking for Olasanya. He's up against Scales. He gets a good header this time at the other end of the pitch, back to his goalkeeper, and Sinisalo will bowl it quickly out to Tierney on the left hand side. This is Peter Leven's 23rd game as an interim Aberdeen manager across his 3 spells. He's closing in some of the full-time appointments that have been here recently. Stephen Glassman is 29, Goodwin 35, Robson 36. This is Leven's 23rd, so if he gets it to the end of the season, he's going to surpass Glass and get close to both Goodwin and Robson, which is remarkable. Araujo out to Yang on the near side, faced by Frame, midway inside the Aberdeen half, shows too much of it to Geiger, who holds him off, and now it's Frame who finds Armstrong to Cameron to Geiger to Cameron to Armstrong. My goodness, Aberdeen popping it around beautifully, and Frame's got Olasanya in behind here, left hand side of the box, facing Arthur. It's Toyosi Olasanya across, can't find Jensen, flag's gone up anyway, and it will be a free kick to Celtic. It's 1-1, almost 53 on the clock there. My goodness, well, I thought prime Barcelona had popped onto the Pittodrie pitch there.
Nearly.
That was wonderful. It was good play though, wasn't it? Olasanya just a little bit too eager to get forward on that occasion.
Armstrong and Cameron been brilliant in there, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's the difference with having players who are on the same page, same wavelength. Little 1-2s round Celtic players, and then the ball in behind.
Long ball from Araujo is going to come right through to Mitov. And with every passing second, Scott, in this match, the pressure is just amplified on these Celtic players, this Celtic team, knowing full well that in all likelihood they can't afford to really spill any more points this season.
No, they can't afford to spill, and this is such a big game for Celtic. I must win in my eyes, but I'm looking at the Aberdeen defenders. They look really comfy playing out, and I spoke about it before the game. Celtic as a team, especially their front three, they don't press well. If you get it right, you can play around them, and Aberdeen are showing that you can do that.
The good news for Aberdeen is they've got plenty still to play for with regards to the Scottish Cup defence. If not in the league, just keep plugging away and try and pick up as many points as they can. Top 6 is away, and if they don't win this, it will officially, arithmetically, be away. And as Tierney picks up, rolls it out to Tenecti on the left, back to Tierney. 54 on the clock at 1-1. Scales to Arthur. Just wonder how much longer Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney will leave it before making changes, likes of Nygren, Maida, Forrest on the bench. Mivuka came onto the bench to replace Benjamin Arthur after he had to go into the starting 11. As that goes out to play again, it breaks down for Celtic, and it's out for an Aberdeen throw-in wide on the right side in front of the south stand.
You wouldn't think he would wait, give it too much more time before he makes the changes. I don't think both the wide players, I don't think he's getting enough out of them, and I think that's where you would probably be looking at first. Sankara, I don't know, I think he's just an easy target, isn't he? He's an easy target. Nielsen has got him so far in this game in his pocket.
The 3 Celtic subs I mentioned are warming up off to my right, along with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's down there as well. He comes back to Mitov in his own box, and he plays it short to Nielsen, and now it's Malloy to his left. Out to Mitchell Frame. Aberdeen spent money on in the summer, bringing him from Celtic. He wins the throw-in off Araujo on this near side. It's incredible to think how long it took Mitchell Frame to actually break into the Aberdeen team, because left-back's been a problem for them this season. Emmanuel Jampi's back on the bench tonight, been perpetually injured. It's been a problem position, but Yemi Talene didn't ever seem to want to play him. He came in from the cold to face Wraith Rovers in the 4th round of the Cup, and he's hoping to get another run here, having been out of it for a couple of games. And Gavin Malloy started there at the weekend, and indeed against Dundee United. And Scales rolls it back to Sinisalo. But at some point Celtic are going to have to twist, because this could do untold damage to their hopes of a 14th title in 15 seasons, and already potentially needing snookers, given they can only play Hearts one more time. There's a long one for Yang, manages to help it on its way to Tenekti. Milne enough to be careful, and it bounces off Tenekti back to Mitov, who holds on. Tenekti did well to get his studs out of the way of Mitov's face there as he slid in. As Geiger is pushed there by McCowan, was he? No. He's waved to his feet by Nick Walsh, the referee, and it's out for a Celtic throw-in on the far side. It's Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1 on 57 minutes.
Quite simple though. You know, the ball from Sinisalo up to Sankara, a little flick on, Tenekti in behind. So, you know, it can work, it can be done.
They're 3 for 3, aren't they? Willie at the back. Yeah. So if you get the pass right and you get the flick on right, you've got a chance to get that one-on-one situation.
A slight tackle by Scales and Olasanya on the far side. And Olasanya still in possession. Back onto the halfway line for Armstrong. He finds Milne and out to Cameron. And then first time Armstrong for Milne. Stuart Armstrong looks like he's enjoying himself out there, and he's not had much to enjoy this season. He's gone on the right side, pulls it back to Milne, takes a touch and shoots, and it's the wrong man because he slices it with the left foot well past the post, and that will be a goal kick as it flew to the left of the goal frame. Goal kick to Celtic in front of a crowd of 17,592. Again, another official crowd of 17.5 here at Pittodrie as Dyson Maida waits to come on. I don't think he's going to be alone. Benjamin Nygren being readied as well. There's Nielsen for Aberdeen. Forward to Olasanya, was in an offside position. Just didn't even move for it. A Celtic pick up in the midfield, and it's flashed out to Tenekti wide on the left. He's got 2 in the middle. Gets his cross in. It's headed away by Nielsen. Now with Hatate. Finds Tierney. Out to Tenekti at the left angle of the box. Faced by Jensen. Cameron there too. Tenekti has it. Rolls it back towards McGregor, who wasn't expecting the ball, neither was Nisbet, who did get onto it momentarily, but it breaks back to Tierney, crosses in. Chvanchara with a header, comes off the Aberdeen defender last, and that's going to be a Celtic corner, despite the protests from the home players. And it will be a Celtic corner over on that far side, as Martin O'Neill waits to make a couple of substitutions here. And we are knocking on the hour mark in the Granite City. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
Yeah, I thought that was a goal kick, to be perfectly honest, but there you go, the referee has made a different decision. But I think Celtic need fresh blood. They need fresh blood up front, that's for sure. Svankara has been a little bit prominent. You know, he got his head onto the ball on that occasion, but I don't think he's doing enough, and Nielsen is enjoying playing up against him.
In comes the corner, it's headed away by Nielsen. It's another poor delivery. Some of the corners have been poor this evening, save for the one that led to the Celtic goal scored by Kieran Tierney in the opening 5 minutes that gave the champions the lead, cancelled out by Nisbet's penalty. But here's Hatate coming forward, and his ball is cut out in the 18-yard line. Aberdeen clear. Now Hatate scored Celtic's second here in August, as Geiger gets it through towards Cameron, tries to flick it round Scales, but the Irishman reacts well and goes back to Sinisalo at the edge of his box. Now it's with Araujo. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
It's on a nice edge, isn't it? Really, you know, Celtic having a little period of domination, and Aberdeen look quite happy to be sitting back and soaking it up at this moment in time. But we'll have to see what impact the changes have.
I wonder if he'll go Maeda through the middle. Chvanchara hasn't done enough for me. So having the biggest boy in school up front, isn't it, and hit it up to him, but he's
an easy target.
Yeah, he is. He's been really ineffective within the game. Nielsen looks to have his... Yep.
Right, Chvanchara's coming off, and Maeda's going to replace him, and McCowan will come off, and Nygren will come on. Dyson Maida, he scored 5 times against Aberdeen, including a hat-trick in last season's League Cup semis. He's got 3 assists against them as well, but he's having a bit of a goal drought at the moment. He's not scored in his last 9 matches, which is his joint longest goal drought since joining the club in January 22, initially on loan. And if he doesn't score tonight, it will be his most barren run in front of goal for the club. He'd scored 26 by this time last year, Dyson Maida. He's only on 8 this time around, as Aberdeen prepare to make a change, and Liam Morrison is going to replace Sivert Nielsen. It's a difficult time of it, former Celtic youth player, and Olasanya is going to be replaced by Bilalovic, the young Swede. So 1 apiece, double change for both, and let's see how that impacts things. But Liam Morrison, he's a bit of a nightmare, Willie, in truth, since he's joined the club on loan from Queen's Park Rangers. The penalty concession and red card against Dundee in his last appearance here, and then committing himself spectacularly at the weekend. And the build up to the Braga goal.
I'm surprised at that. Maybe they just want fresh legs in there. Maybe that they don't think that Nielsen is sharp enough, is quick enough, or has got the energy to deal with whoever they're going to play through the middle, whether it be Maeda. So that must be the thinking behind it. But listen, he's a centre back. They're keeping the same shape. It's not as if they're changing the shape. And I mean, there is 3 centre backs as well, so it should give them the advantage against the Celtic forward line. But I'll be a bit surprised with that change, because I think Nielsen had done extremely well.
Just a different type of battle. It's a different type of profile, isn't it? You'd imagine Maeda's looking to play off the back of him on a yellow card. He's got that real pace. Listen, I know he's not been in scintillating form compared to what he was in last year, but what he does give you, he gives you that threat of pace in behind.
James Forrest, I think, is going to be coming on shortly too. He scored against Aberdeen in that 3-1 victory in December. And Bilalovic, who's come on there, scored Aberdeen's equaliser that day. That's the last time Aberdeen scored a goal away from home. Satati under pressure from Cameron goes back to his goalkeeper. It's been a little buzz bomb in the midfield for Aberdeen this evening as Lyle Cameron. They're going to have to change that goal scoring stat away from home. Pretty sharpish. No goals on the road since December, since that Bilalovic goal at Celtic Park. They haven't scored in any of their away games since then. And as I mentioned earlier, just 7 away goals in the league this season, 3 of them coming against Dundee in one match at Dens, which equals 4 in all the other games away from home. Celtic playing a risky game at the back there. They've got away with it once more as Tierney finds McGregor, who I think was trying to control it. It's ended up being a decent ball out to Terekte. So it comes back to Tierney and he moves it infield to Scales. 63.5 played, 1-1.
Yeah, but they take too many chances. Aberdeen are smart to it. They're pressing, they have pressed the whole game, and I think Sinisalo's made a lot of very, very bad choices and trying to play straight passes into players that are man marked, some 25-30 yards out.
Tierney off, Sirachi on, and Forrest's going to replace Yang. Scott Allen.
I think it makes sense. I thought James Forrest came on at the weekend. What he's got is he can go both ways. Got that quality. If he does go by, he can hang the ball up, put it in a good area, and he's got all that experience. Sirachi, listen, we've seen this time and time again this season, haven't we, with Kieran Tierney. What I like about Sirachi, every time he receives the ball, he looks to go forward. He could be the difference here for Celtic as the game goes on. But I just feel Aberdeen look comfortable. I really do. I think Aberdeen look comfortable. It's just up there as my head is about to press.
Milne did well there under pressure from Maeda. He finds Morrison. Just Jensen back to Milne.
Just as Willie was saying there about Sinisalo with the straight passes, Sinisalo's got to realise, unless Hatate separates from the midfielder that's pressing, we can't play that ball. That's when it's got to go long. And he just doesn't look on the same page as the 2 Celtic midfielders.
If you're going to play Celtic, the identikit is to watch that Motherwell performance against them in December. I haven't seen a team out with Rangers or a European opponent outplay Celtic the way Motherwell did that night at Fir Park. It's an astonishing display, and they've been doing it to other teams as well. Obviously, they did it to Rangers quite recently and scored that late equaliser through Stephen Welsh.
They've outplayed every single team in the league at some point this season. Not always on the winning side, but in terms of how you want to play football, maybe not having the finish, they've outplayed nearly every single team in the division.
And the problem for Celtic is, if you don't win this game, you could be looking at a scenario where they finish 4th this season, because Motherwell are right on their coattails.
You're at the stage now where the Celtic players will understand how difficult Motherwell come to Celtic Park will be with them. They'll have an understanding. We could see periods where we don't have the ball today, and that's not the norm for Celtic players, especially at Celtic Park.
Going into the final 9 games of the season, if this ends a draw as it stands right now, Celtic would be on 56, Motherwell would be right on their coattails. They've still got a game in hand, of course, to the Steelmen. So if Celtic pick up a point, they'd be 3 clear of Motherwell, who would have a game in hand which is played on Saturday against Dundee. And that's incredible, this stage of the season.
You just imagine the motivation in the Motherwell players if if they understand, if they beat Dundee, they could go level with Celtic. Incredible, it really is.
Hatate though for Celtic. Araujo, 66 on the clock at 1-1. There's a chance for us right inside of the box. Touched in. Nygren. He's there again. Celtic's top scorer. And he's come up with yet another huge moment for his team as he taps home from just inside the 6-yard area. And if Celtic go on to retain their title this season, they're going to have to give a big thanks to the Swede Benjamin Nygren. That's his 19th of the campaign. And on 67 minutes, they have their lead back to the champions. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2. But there might be an offside here.
Yeah, he looks off. He looks just off, doesn't he? But it's the two subs, the impact they have. James Forrest, we just spoke about that quality in the final third. It's a lovely pick out, and Nygren in the 18-yard box. He's deadly on the end of it. Lovely finish.
Is he the wrong side of the defender though?
Yeah, he's looking offside from here. Yeah, it looks as though he's offside. It's difficult because we've not got a great angle here, so they'll be drawing the lines absolutely. But from where we're sitting and the replay that we've got, it's offside.
Well, we'll find out in a moment. Chris Graham's the man on the VAR tonight, so Nick Walsh will be in dialogue with him. But it's a big moment here. The two guys to my left think this is going to get ruled out.
It's just our angle, that's the problem.
Oh, I'm seeing a replay. Malloy just playing him on. It's very, very tight. Malloy's left boot might just have played him on. Well,
I think the time they're taking tells you how tight it is.
Yeah, the lines will be getting drawn right now, and there are Aberdeen supporters desperately trying to see a television in the hospitality boxes behind us in the main stand to see if they can see a replay of it themselves. Big moment coming in here, and goals given.
Wow.
It stands. Nygren's up to 19 for the campaign. And what a huge player, Scott Allen, and he's only been in the pits for a few minutes. He has been for them this season. If they win the league, he's going to have had a big say.
He's going to have a huge say, and he's doing what he does best. He's just arriving in the box. James Forrest, it's a lovely pick out. I think it's through the legs. And when he's in that position, just do one-touch finishes. We've seen it time and time again. Impact substitute tonight. Could have a huge say in this title race.
It's Malloy's toe, isn't it? Malloy stuck his boot out there, and when you draw the line, his toe is ahead, and playing him onside, playing Nygren onside.
Aberdeen think they should have had a free kick down by the corner flag here. Nisbet went down, challenged by Araujo. The ref wasn't interested in it though. Celtic have the ball. Graham Shinney incidentally has come on for Dennis Geiger, and Aberdeen have to come from behind again. They feel they deserve something out of this game up to this point. But Celtic scoring that goal, and now they've got their lead back, Scott. It's about, at the very least, preserving it this time.
As I think from a Celtic perspective, I think you've got to keep pushing, look for that third goal. Yeah. You don't want to sit back and on a 2-1 up at Pittodrie. Aberdeen have performed well tonight, scored a fantastic goal there, two substitutes linking up, and I think they'll look to go and try and get more control in the game and pin this Aberdeen side back.
Araujo for Celtic, low ball out to Forrest on this near side, into Nygren, the challenge from Armstrong, framed as well to nick it infield to Cameron, back out to Mitchell, Frame driving into loads of space down the left hand side. Bilanovic waiting in the middle, the low ball doesn't get past Arthur though, blocks, and Celtic clear.
He played it far too early for me. He didn't have to deliver. He should drive into the box, try and bring a Celtic player out towards him and maybe get the cut back. Just in a hurry to get the ball in there.
Foul by Maida on Armstrong, left of the centre circle, and Stuart Armstrong takes it. Won 8 major honours at Celtic. Did Armstrong indeed scored against Aberdeen in the 2017 Scottish Cup final. Malloy picks up and finds Milne, and he shifted out to the right there for Morrison. Out to Jensen on the touchline. And back to Morrison, and infield for Milne, who slips, and Maida's onto it. Maida driving into the box, left-footed, shoots wide. It's been that kind of season for him. And it stays Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2. That was potentially an opportunity to seal the game there for Dyson Maida.
He never looked confident that he was going to put it in the back of the net. Listen, it's a slip from Milne. Maida's onto it. And he just never looked confident that he was going to bust the net with it.
It's well wide, isn't it?
Aye. It's a big slip from Milne, though, isn't it? You know, but he's dragged it, isn't it?
It's a really poor finish. Listen, it kind of summed up how his season's been, hasn't it?
I mean, he set the bar so high last term, but he's just been so far off it. And I mean, the fact that when he was away, he was away on international duty with Japan, wasn't he? He made the point to the journalists out there that he wanted to leave Celtic, and it's almost as though that's weighing heavily on him.
I don't think it should, though. I think if you're looking to leave in the summer, you want to go out in a high, you want to perform well. You know that your time, you've got something maybe to look forward to come the summer. So I
think he was hoping to be away last summer. I think that was the problem.
Yeah. That's what contracts are for.
Yeah. Just an unhappy chappy.
There was a potential move to Wolfsburg, I think it was. Martin O'Neill accidentally revealed that in a press conference. That comes back from Cameron to Mitov. It to look lively with Maida on site. It's clear by the right foot, the goalkeeper, and out for a throw-in on this near side for Celtic, who have a 2-1 lead on 72.5 minutes. And they're well placed again to pick up 3 points. They've been having to fight for points recently. The draw wasn't really enough for them at the weekend, but they took it because they'd been 2-0 down at Ibrox. Long ball clearance for Aberdeen, comes off Nisbet. McGregor up high into the air, slices the ball. Bilalovic goes after it. McGregor gets a head onto it. Armstrong nicks it off his old teammate. Takes it out to this near side. Little back heel in field, looking for Shinnie to get onto it. Goes in and Hatate, and then Frame does likewise, but it pops out to Tenekte. And the overlap comes from Sirachi. As Tenekte rolls it out to the left side. Sirachi along the 18-yard line for Nygren. And back to Sirachi. Early ball in, looking for Maida. Milne undecisive. Slices it behind for a Celtic corner. Suddenly it's one-way traffic here at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2.
I think that one came off his studs as well, didn't it? As he went back. Jack Milne, if he'd have missed that, then the head is in, right in behind him. Easy finish. So, you know, the tall centre back, Jack Milne's had a good season, undoubtedly, but he's looking a little bit uneasy, I would say, in the last 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, that slip's definitely unsettled him, hasn't it?
Aberdeen staring at a 9th league defeat in their last 11 games in the Premiership. Atrocious form. Celtic corner, Nygren outswinger with the left foot, headed away to the edge of the box where Hatate will retrieve it. And he plays it to the left there for Marcelo Sirachi. Back out to Nygren on the far side. The left angle of the box on his right foot now. And then with the left he passes it back to McGregor. Infield to Sirachi, forward towards Nygren. Nygren then out to the left touchline for Tenekte, and then to Sirachi, and now with Araujo. 16 minutes left, 2-1 Celtic, but given the nature of this most entertaining of seasons, and I say that for the top 6 clubs, anything can happen as Nygren knocks it forward to Maida. It's blocked, breaks to Hatate. Now Araujo takes a touch, shoots, blocked there by Malloy, but it's going to pop out to Tenekte. Left hand side of the box, back to Hatate, to Tenekte. Tenekte looking for space to shoot perhaps. Instead he leaves it for McGregor. Out to Sirachi. Celtic looking to kill the game here. Sirachi to Tenekte, to McGregor. His efforts blocked. Breaks back to Araujo. He's shown too much of it with the pass there to Frame, who is cynically brought to the ground by Forrest. They'll be booked, and Aberdeen have a free kick on this near side. It is Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2, 75 on the clock. There's still plenty time for plenty to happen between now and the conclusion of this one, Willie.
See, Celtic get in that mood as well, don't they? Where everything's intricate, everything's like, you know, 4 or 5 yard passes, and they're trying to open Aberdeen up, and you feel that, you know, they've got to, you know, maybe be a little more straightforward with their passing, or their crossing even, and just not allowing the Aberdeen defence back. And I think they do that, and they do that time and time again, Celtic. Particularly when they're on top, and they're on top just now, aren't they? They're really bossing the game. You know, it's a complaint put forward, but that's the way they like to play, and invariably it works for them. But I just think they're running into cul-de-sacs at times, just trying to overplay it.
Topi Keskin and Dylan Lobin are going to be on shortly for Aberdeen as they try and find a second equaliser. I mean, any points good enough for them just now as they look to just ease themselves away from Kilmarnock in particular. There are another few clubs clearly between themselves and Kilmarnock. St Mirren, Dundee are there as well. and you would think Aberdeen will be okay given the cushion they have right now, but as I mentioned earlier, Hibs fell from a higher start point from where Aberdeen are right now in 2014 at this stage under Terry Butcher, before ultimately going down as Sinisalo clears with a left foot up to the halfway line. Morrison gets his head onto it. It's broken in the midfield for Celtic. A lot of second balls going their way right now. Tenekte on the far side up against Jensen, rolls it infield to Nygren. Nygren then side foot ball. He's got Maida away left hand side of the box. Forrest looking to get into good position, but Maida slips and allows Milne to clear. His clearance goes off the chest to Sirachi though, and now it's with Hatate over on the far side. And but for the slip, Maida could have been pulling that back to Forrest. He would have been round about the penalty spot, ready to hammer home Celtic's third.
It was a fantastic slide rule pass there from Nygren. And Maeda, again, just when you think he's going to get the cross in, just not having the season that we've seen from last year. But listen, Aberdeen have to get their foot on the ball again. They're just constantly giving Celtic it back. It's now becoming wave after wave.
Yeah, Aberdeen have fallen back into what Willie's seen a lot of this season since the second Celtic goal, maybe just before that as well.
Yeah, they need to show more energy, they need to show more contact, they need to get closer to the Celtic players. It looks as though they've lost a little bit of that energy, a little bit of that enthusiasm, and Celtic are taking advantage of it.
Sirachi wide on the left, finds Tenekte up against Jensen, rolls it back to Sirachi, infield to McGregor, back to Sirachi. And the freedom of Pittodrie here, these Celtic players right now. Araujo via Nygren's unintentional touch takes it to Forrest wide on the right of the box, flicks it with the outside of the right boot, touch from Hatate, headed away by Morrison. Armstrong on the turn, and it's Sirachi, though the ref's blown his whistle and Aberdeen have a free kick.
Yeah, I thought Armstrong was fouled there. McGregor actually went into the back of him, and the referee spotted it. So another few changes though.
Yeah, Aberdeen, I mentioned Lobban and Keskinen are waiting to come on, and they will do that right now. Jack Milne is being withdrawn. Looks as though he's walking off with a little bit of a limp, and Alexander Jensen's the other to be taken off. He's exited the field over on the south stand side. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2, heading towards the final 10 minutes. As it stands, it's job done for Martin O'Neill. He would have absolutely signed up for a single goal victory again here tonight. And if that's what comes to pass, they go to within 5 points of Hearts, with both teams having played the same number of games. Hearts' next league game is Kilmarnock at Rugby Park. Celtic's next league game is Motherwell in Glasgow.
Aberdeen going to the back four, are they? Looks as though they are.
Yeah, with Milne coming off there, yeah.
Lobban out there, and it's Morrison and Malloy. So, Peter Leven's made the changes. I think it's positive changes. Obviously, he still thinks that he can get something out of this game, and with that change of shape, we'll just have to wait and see if it works out or not.
I think obviously being a goal behind now, they have to carry some sort of threat going forward. They just haven't offered enough in this second half. A lot of that down to Celtic, so going a lot more direct, haven't they, and picked up the second balls. And
when Milne gets injured or whatever it was, I think it was an injury, then they don't really have a replacement that they can bring on either.
No, Morrison came on earlier as Forrest finds McGregor and sweeps it back into the centre circle on the halfway line with Scales. Out to Tenekte on the far side, won back well by Dylan Lobban. Bilalovic can't get onto it in the follow-up, and it's with Scales. He goes back into his own half for McGregor, to the left for Scales, and out to the touchline for Sirachi, who now marauds forward deep into Aberdeen territory. Finds Tenekte, infield to Nygren, forward looking for Tenekte again, left hand side of the box, cut out by Dylan Lobban. Cameron clears, he's trying to get Frame away, but it's gone straight to Araujo. Hatate on this near side, plays it off Frame and out for a throw-in to Celtic, level with the Aberdeen penalty spot on this near side. We're in the final 10 minutes of the 90 at Pittodrie, with Celtic leading 2-1 and looking comfortable all of a sudden.
Well, they've got their tails up, aren't they? And they certainly look as though they've found a bit of a rhythm. I think Aberdeen have fallen out of it. I think their energy has kind of dwindled a little bit.
It's not been good all season, Willie. I don't think they had a good pre-season.
No.
And they came back in kind of half-cooked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that could be a possible answer to it, because the first half was full of energy. It was packed of everything good in the game that Aberdeen haven't shown this season. So for them to fall out the second half the way they have, I think that's a point that has got to be taken under consideration by Peter Leaving. But on the other hand, Celtic are playing better. They're more in the rhythm as well. They've got kind of a better understanding and seem to be up for it a little bit more than what they were in the first half. And of course the changes that Martin O'Neill made, I think, made a huge difference.
Both teams looking at it well when Nielsen goes off. He was really aggressive, wasn't he? That Maeda change offers a different type of pressure coming from a Celtic team. And as much as Vlahovic has come on, Olusanya does have things that aren't brought in his game, but what he does give you is endeavour, pace and strength. Vlahovic I don't think I've seen him get near a Celtic player yet, put him under real pressure.
No, the substitutions have certainly helped Celtic, that's for sure. And Nygren and Maeda coming on, Forrest teeing up Nygren, subs combining to give Celtic a precious 2-1 lead. This is a throw-in for them, bowled down to Nygren to the right angle of the Aberdeen box for Maeda. Malloy gets it away, up into the air. Nisbet tries to take it down. He's managed to get a touch onto it, fires it into the midfield, but Sarachi will just leave it for Tenekte. And now it's back with Scales, who controls with the undersole and passes it forward into the Aberdeen half for Hatate, who then shifts it out to the left side for Tenekte. Midway inside Aberdeen territory, 83 just about on the clock. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2. Araujo on this near side, faced by Keskinen. Keskinen gets the challenge, he thinks he's won a throw in. The linesman on the near side there, Dan McFarlane, disagrees as it's bowled forward by Araujo. Quickly frames onto it and gets it back to Malloy, who clears. Armstrong with a clever back heel for Shinnie. Long from Graham Shinnie. Bilalovic will chase, but it comes right through to Sinisalo, and it will stay Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2. The Dons have not threatened since Celtic found their second goal tonight.
No, it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle for most of the second half. Aberdeen, nowhere near the form that they showed in the first half. And Celtic have controlled it, but at 2-1 there's still an opportunity. I know the minutes are ticking down away, and Aberdeen don't have, and they haven't shown in the second half that they're going to be a real threat. But where there's time and hope, then there's always a chance.
Well, there's always hope, Willie. There is always hope. There's always a chance.
Indeed.
As Malloy takes a free kick for Aberdeen to Cameron into the centre circle, back to Malloy. And he's got frame and space over on this near side. Instead he turns it to his right for Morrison. And out it goes to Loban on the far side. Dylan Loban passes it back to Morrison. He goes back to Mitov. Long ball from the Bulgarian with the left foot. A header won by Scales though. Breaks out to Sarachi wide on the left. Infield to McGregor. Celtic led early through Tierney, cancelled out by Nisbet's penalty. It was 1-1 at the break. Benjamin Nygren off the bench to give Celtic their lead back with his 19th of the season. So that comes back to Sinisalo. And Nygren's not a midfielder. He plays a lot of the Celtic, it's still the infancy of his Celtic career, plays a lot of it in the midfield. He's an attacker by trade, so it's no surprise that Benjamin Nygren is so high in the scoring charts. And his goals have been of huge importance. But here come Aberdeen with Cameron, couldn't release Keskinen, headed away by Arthur. Armstrong picks it up and finds frame wide on the left. Forward to Topi Keskinen, outside of the right boot, cross comes in, header. It's only half away. Aberdeen continuing here, and it's a good clearance by Araujo to get in ahead of Keskinen in the second phase there, and Celtic get it clear. But here's Shinnie down the left side for Keskinen, for frame up against Forrest, back out to Keskinen, low ball across, it's cleared easily by Arthur. Wasn't what he intended, and it's going to be picked up in the left of the centre circle by Morrison, who fires it to the left there for Shinnie. Colby Donovan will be on shortly for Celtic. It is Malloy for Aberdeen, heading towards 86 minutes. 2-1 Celtic. It's Keskinen looking to get onto a chip ball over the top. Araujo will see it behind for the goal kick though. Strong defending it was by Julian Araujo, and the Californian-born Mexican sees it behind, and more seconds tick away as Colby Donovan prepares to come on here, and Celtic make their latest change, and it will be Araujo who is going to come off. He applauds the Celtic supporters over on the far side in the south stand, and for a good period of time in this game. It looked as though the champions were going to struggle to pick up the 3 points. It was a good Aberdeen performance, probably for about an hour in the game. They've tailed off completely, though.
No, they have, but you know, the signs there, and Peter Leaven will be very happy with the way that his team performed in that first hour, Liam. I don't think there's anybody that's going to argue with that. They've fallen away in the second half, but you've got to give a bit of credit to Celtic. But there's still a little bit of time left here for Aberdeen to pull out something really special and take something from the game. But Celtic and the changes that they made have been really productive for them.
It's been that kind of season where anything can happen, really. Armstrong took a touch, then drove forward and slipped as he tried to get back onto it. Breaks to Arthur, long ball forward, comes off the head of Malloy. Breaks to Hatate, is headed out to the left for Tenecti. He's well read by Dylan Lobban. Ruins a throw in for the Dons over on the far side. But just 2.5 minutes of the 90 remaining here at Pittodrie. Morrison picks up and squares it to Malloy, right of the D, to the left of it, the edge of his own box. Forward towards Nisbet, gets a little flick, can't find Keskinen though. Donovan has it, finds Scales, now it's with Sirachi. He rolls it back out to Donovan on this near side. A little ball down the touchline for Forrest. Infield to Nygren, back to Forrest, back to McGregor, back out to Forrest, and down the line for Donovan, who is fouled by Nisbet. Free kick Celtic, 88 on the clock. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2.
Yeah, a lot of intricate play there again from Celtic. They enjoy playing it really tight, don't they, on the byline. But it's inviting Aberdeen to put challenges in, I think, at this stage of the game. And you know what? They've played it long more than I've seen Celtic play it long in the past, and they've got a lot out of it. They've got a lot out of the second ball, so I don't think it's anything to be ashamed of if you can mix it up.
Benjamin Arthur with a long ball from the free kicks, headed away by Malloy at the edge of his box. Lyle Cameron takes it down and slices it up to the halfway line. It's not a great header from Arthur. It breaks to Nisbet. Keenan Bilalovic for Aberdeen's being fouled by Hatate. He's yellow carded. It's an Aberdeen free kick inside the centre circle and just inside their own half.
It's the last thing you want for your centre back, a header like that. I don't know what he's thinking about at this stage of the game. Dear me, be positive, get your head on it, get it clear, get it over the top. Don't give it away the way you gave it away there. That was Arthur I was talking about, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned his name, but there he was.
Keskinen slips and it goes out of him for a Celtic throw-in on this near side, and Celtic's so very close to a priceless 3 points, Scott Allen.
Listen, this will be a huge win for Celtic. Listen, as again, they've played in spells. Second half, I think they've been a lot better. As Willie said, they've went direct at times because it's man for man.
Yeah, Nygren's managed to get it to Tenecti. He attacks the Aberdeen box and he overlaps Sirachi. Oh, he needed the ball. He's free waiting. He's put it high over the bar, and that's a goal kick to Aberdeen. Need Forrest, Maida and Nygren all potentially with tap-in opportunities from a low cutback.
Nygren's been excellent since his introduction. Lovely reverse pass from Tenecti from the right hand side of the box down to Sirachi on the overlap on his left, and he's got to show more quality than that. Just miscues it. Is Nygren again.
Here's Maida, left-hand side of the Aberdeen box, level with the 6-yard line, back out to the left for Tenecti because he was under pressure. 5 minutes have been added, we're into the first of them. As Martin O'Neill takes a drink from his water bottle down below us. Getting close. They needed the win tonight, and they are now just under 5 minutes away from going back down to Glasgow with 3 points, which would take them to within 5 of the leaders' hearts. It would also take them above Rangers back into second. Celtic have only been top of the league for 1 week this season, the middle of September. Hearts have been top every other single week of this campaign.
It's incredible, really, isn't it? And Motherwell are pushing Celtic from fourth place.
Yeah.
Listen, this is a huge win for Celtic, and it's ultimately what matters is the last game of the season, Liam.
I just wonder if it'll go. Imagine a four-way battle for the title in the last game or two of the season. It'd be remarkable. Here's Cameron for Aberdeen. They're going to slip in Keskinen. He's in behind Donovan. Chance, he's in the box. Across it comes and away by Sirachi on the 6-yard line. He's in it behind for the corner with Keenan Bilalovic in behind him. It's Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2, but the Dons have a corner kick here in stoppage time.
Kevin Nisbet's got to just sprint into the 6-yard box. I think he's waiting on the cutback. He's got to get across into the 6-yard box, and he slows up looking for the cutback.
He's just held his run, hasn't he? That's what he's looking for. Maybe he's lacking a little bit of energy as well.
Aberdeen corner, Cameron on this left-hand side. It's a good delivery. It's flicked away by Arthur. Back in by Shinnie. Arthur heads away again, as does Hatate. Keskinen in the turn with a snapshot blocked. Shinnie heads it back into the box. Arthur heads it clear. Cameron goes after it. Almost fouled by Hatate. And he stayed on his feet, and it bobbles behind for the goal kick. Well, if Cameron goes down there, the pillar's kind of in my way. I don't know if Willie or Scott had a better.
It looked as though it was a lunge.
Might well have been a penalty.
Hatate, yeah. We're seeing a little bit more of it now as it bobbled about, and you know, it was poor. And was it Hatate as well?
It's a dangerous.
It was. Yeah, I think he's pulled out of it. He's pulled out of it at the last minute.
2-1 Celtic. 2 of the 5 minutes have come and gone. Scott.
Listen, Aberdeen putting on a bit of pressure here. We minutes to go. I think Lyle Cameron, I think he should go down anyway and give them a decision to make, to be honest. Listen, you see that one time and time again, but it's on the blind side. Hatate just swings a foot at it.
I think he knows that, going by the reaction of Lyle Cameron. Here comes Celtic up the other end. There's an effort at goal by Hatate. He's put it well wide from left of the D, just inside the box really. Goal kick Aberdeen. 2-1 Celtic. 2 minutes left at Pittodrie. Long ball by Mitov. Comes off the head of Donovan, and then Forrest wins a throw-in off Mitchell Frame on this near side. And Colby Donovan's not in a rush to take it. They've been made to sweat again tonight of Celtic. They've had a good record at Pittodrie recently, but they've had it a lot easier here at times than they have this evening. If Aberdeen play like they did for an hour in this one, then they should be able to stave off any thoughts of finishing 11th and potentially defending the Scottish Cup as well. But here comes Celtic with Nygren. He's got Maida to his left. He's at the edge of the box. Nygren on the turn finds Hatate, looking to shift it to Tenekti. Misunderstanding. Dylan Lovins decided to keep that in play for some reason. He eventually wins the throw-in off the goal kick off Sirachi. And Aberdeen have just over a minute to try and find a second equaliser.
Tenekti's wanting that defeat, isn't he? And Hatate's thinking, can I get you in behind the fullback?
A brilliant touch by Nisbet. He was being held by Arthur as well. Finds Frame on the left as he overhit the ball. Keskinen will chase. Donovan's the covering player. Donovan gets a touch and turns it away from Keskinen down towards the corner. Flag goes behind. It is a corner. It is a corner to Aberdeen as we enter the final minute of the 5 that were added on at the end here at Pittodrie.
Crucial time for Aberdeen. Crucial time for Celtic. They've got to defend this, and can Aberdeen pull out something special with the seconds just ticking down on them?
This is it. Now or never for Aberdeen. Celtic 30 seconds away from victory. Aberdeen corner. Cameron comes right into the 6-yard area, but it's hoofed away by James Forrest. And a bouncing ball. The Celtic supporters celebrated as if there was a goal scored there. There's Cameron on the near side, back to Frame. Misunderstanding with Keskinen. Hatate got goal side, or ball side rather, and wins the foul. And that is a free kick to Celtic, and that should be just about that. As the Aberdeen supporters begin to head out in their droves now.
Such a poor ball from Lyle Cameron, isn't it, at that stage of the game? It bounces even before it gets into the box. Come on, he's got to put it in an area and allow your defenders to go and attack it.
The final whistle will surely follow this free kick from Colby Donovan, which is midway inside his own half on the near side. We've played the 5 minutes. Nick Walsh has a little look at his watch. Donovan's long ball. There's the final whistle, and that is a huge win for Celtic. And once again, it's a narrow one. And once again, they've had to battle for it. Kieran Tierney